Last week might have been one of the most news-packed, exciting weeks in esports history, and we are here to talk about all that tonight. Losers Bracket Podcast, round 107 this week. What an event at the MLG Winter Championship in Columbus, Ohio over the weekend. Some crazy results across the board. VV Gaming did pretty good. That's pretty awesome. And some huge news with the WCG as well. We have a ton to talk about tonight, and I, of course, am joined by at least two of the three guys that you have known to grown to know and love. There we go. I do have Jerry and Kurt with us tonight. The intern is nowhere to be found, probably recovering from a long MLG weekend and a long drive. He was pretty far away, but drove the entire way. So let's start out with what we normally do. Kurt, how are you doing this week, my friend? How did you enjoy MLG?
I'm doing well. I'm kind of glad that I didn't go to this MLG, considering everyone I spoke to is just dead tired today still. But so I didn't go to this event, so I'm not quite as tired as you guys. I'm pretty excited to talk about the MLG event and my take on how things look from the stream. There's a lot of stuff to talk about MLG. Good, mostly good, some bad, of course, because I'm the negative Nancy over here. But yeah, really, really great week for esports in general, and we're going to cover all that hopefully tonight. And it's going to be really interesting talking to CDjr too. So. Oh, I can't wait! Yes,
CDjr is going to be on the show a little bit later tonight. The Mortal Kombat 9 champion from MLG. This past weekend. What an exciting event that was. We'll get into that a little bit later, but Jerry, how are you doing, and how did you enjoy MLG?
I am recovered, as recovered as one can be. I mean, I've got this it's like a hell marathon, right? So I work, MLG, work. This weekend I have to fly to Miami for a symposium. Then I get back, and it's more work. So I really don't have a day off until April 6th, which is Good Friday. I have taken a 3-day weekend then. So I'm really busy. But, I mean, this weekend was fantastic. I learned a lot about fighting games. Really got to talk to the Mortal Kombat community. And I'm so glad I don't think I'll ever use the term fighting game community again. We'll get to that later, though. But it was a great weekend. Obviously, Mortal Kombat was fantastic. StarCraft, I thought, had a great storyline. MK Prime winning, I think, is a finally. And I don't think that Mortal Kombat or Halo could have had better finishes, to be honest. I think it was definitely picture perfect. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I can't agree with you anymore. What insane finishes across the board. Halo coming down to almost the final kill on the game, the final tiebreaker game. Same thing with MK. Those are finals that you just dream of at esports events. I personally think this was the biggest MLG, best MLG of all time. And it looks like things are only going to get bigger from here. Some really interesting tweets across the board. Let's start with a little bit of news before we get to MLG. My, how things have changed. Because look back, 70, 80 episodes of the Losers Bracket ago, we used to call WCG the thing to look at. We said MLG, take a couple hints. And now, lo and behold, there's a couple of letters that have come out, and it looks like the WCG has seen its last days, and that we are bidding farewell to an organization that I personally have even competed in before, known for its love of 1.6 and Samsung backing. And this is just quite incredible. If you guys have not seen, Cadrid posted an article recently that WCG is going to halt its tournaments that we have grown to see its normal format, and we will only be seeing mobile games, mobile phone games from them from now on. And this has not officially come out from WCG yet, but everything points to this as being 100% true. Kurt, I'd love to hear your thoughts first. I'll pass it over to Jerry, and I'll throw mine in as well. But Kurt, take the mic, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, to me, it's not necessarily a big surprise. It's not necessarily something I foresaw happening as quickly as it did either, though. But it's not really a big surprise. They've always had this sort of love with fighting games. One of their biggest supporters, and Samsung for that matter, is known for creating a bunch of not fighting games, mobile games. So they're kind of known for having those mobile titles. They always have. I think one of the ones last year was like Asphalt
real
6.
Quick. What you just said there, Kurt, according to one of those letters, Samsung is not only a partner, but as of recent years, Samsung actually bought, like they are the owners of WCG
Oh,
now.
most certainly.
So,
yeah, that's fairly common knowledge, or at least it was supposed to be, that Samsung's always been or not always been, but most recently, the past, I think, 4 years have been, if not more, part owner, if not full owner of WCG. That being said, if I'm not mistaken, this is just from my understanding of how things played out, Samsung wasn't exactly a big fan of the U.S. market. With WCG, it wasn't working out. They basically pulled everything out from the U.S. market. Last year, you kind of saw that happen in the middle of a season last year. People were supposed to be going to events, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, we can't send you. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you to the Trans-American event without sending you to the grand finals. It was all a big headache. It's very, very sad. That's why you didn't see some of the best players and some of the best teams at WCG this year. It just didn't work out that way. That being said, I understand some of their thought process behind it. They're trying to figure out exactly how to make money. Their model's kind of been fucked up from the get-go because they had this sort of split-up model of where they held things in Korea and held things in the U.S., and there was a completely separate company. It's just all a big headache. So I do at least agree with their decision from a make-money standpoint. They're going to do well on their mobile phone. Hopefully Samsung, continues to support them because of this. And hopefully we see them stick around. Because more than anything, I want to see them stick around because I think if they stick around, they maybe change their model around a little bit. I think they'll be back, to be completely honest. I think they have invested too much into what they've been doing currently to not want to come back at any point in time. But yeah, I suppose we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the name World Cyber Games is no longer really almost applicable. The one letter on Cadred actually referred to it as a mobile game-based festival. And to be fair, I guess it makes sense because Samsung is using this as a marketing tool at this point. They are doing this with less overhead if they do all this on their devices. And there's so much more profit to be made. I mean, from a profit-based standpoint, how could they do something the likes of MLG or IPL at the international level and still be profitable, competing with these bigger leagues and still making a profit? It's a smart move, I think, for them. But Jerry, I really want your opinion. What are your thoughts?
I think there's two things here. One, it clearly points to the fact that WCG can't compete in the same market that, let's say, a Major League Gaming is in right now. The economics have changed. Whatever those reasons, nobody may not know the whole answer, but, you have to be flexible if you're going to stay alive. So I think it was the right choice. They had to stay relevant. I thought their games were stale, to be quite honest. And there were too many rules. It was too complicated. And I thought it started to change in a way that not everyone was pleased with. Mobile games. I think it's an untapped market. I think it's really good to try to pivot there. But can they create a sustainable competitive advantage in the mobile market? It's not impossible for MLG to add a mobile game. It's not impossible for IEM to add a mobile game. Will their entry into the mobile market be enough? I don't know. I'm a kind of person, when I look at an organization, I think about the people there and whether or not the people at the company impress me. And I don't know if WCG does that for me. So it's one of those where I think it's a good strategic move because you don't have a lot of choice. And if you want to look to the future, there's definitely going to be an uptake in mobile games. You had to do that. You know, we could see a lot of different games come to mobile. But, you know, is it too soon? How will that affect funding? I don't know. I'll reserve doubt until I see their first only all-mobile festival. And I think we should point out in their press release that they really called what they did a festival. And I don't always recall the World Cyber Games.
Looks like the call just dropped. What happened there? Let's see if we can get that back as Jerry and Kurt randomly disappeared. In the meantime, I will say something really interesting that I saw on Twitter yesterday as we try to get the call back.
If it's a festival. So
there he is. There he is. Okay, so the call just dropped for a second there, Jerry. Apologize for that, but it's back now.
Oh, my call dropped?
Yeah, it just came back, though. We're good. So you got cut off in the middle there. But I was in the middle of saying something while the call was coming back. I found it very interesting, and I don't know if you saw this. On Twitter, Adam, Mr. MLGAdam, Clap, as you might know him, made a tweet that you gotta imagine was pointed right at WCG for this. The tweet said, and I quote, "Oh shit, my time has finally come. Practicing my Angry Birds game, going pro."
Yeah, I mean, that clearly, I think you're right. I mean, and, I mean, look, it's true. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You couldn't hang with the big boys. The game was over. Well, what do you want to say, right?
Well, to be completely fair, we don't necessarily know what the big boys are doing anything right now either. You know, we haven't exactly seen MLG make consistent money yet. We haven't seen IPL make consistent money yet. We don't know. In 10 years, they could be like, okay, this was a failed fucking experiment. You know, just like WCG is doing right now. WCG is going, this was a failed experiment. We couldn't make money. We couldn't figure out how to make money. So I don't necessarily fault WCG for their decisions because they have made some ridiculously stupid ones at times. One of the biggest ones to me was WCG Ultimate Gamer. The only reason that was done...
I thought it was going to be keeping 1.6 for so long.
Considering that was their biggest game.
Well, to be fair, Jerry, to be fair, with this move over to mobile and 1.6 being such an old title, most cell phones could run it nowadays. So, I mean, we could still see it for Kurt.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. No, actually...
I'm pretty sure your game is the only one that actually has a mobile title.
I was going to say, my Galaxy S2 crotch rocket version, whatever it's called, there's actually a little code thing on here. And if you even try to Google search for Counter-Strike 1.6, the phone turns off. So, I mean, they did something. Right.
In all seriousness, WCG Ultimate Gamer was a really bad decision. It was just basically done as a countermeasure to CGS. It was purely them getting really, really scared. And with 2010 was one of their worst years. I mean, it was really, really bad for them numbers-wise. They had great numbers for LOL, but it just didn't. They couldn't figure out exactly how to translate that into profits. And to be completely fair, we don't know anyone that's figured out how to translate directly into profits yet.
I have a suspicion. I just have a suspicion Major League Gaming, with the stream model and where technology has finally hit, I think they're in a pretty strong position to probably... I
would agree, but they have just figured that out. So we can't expect WCG to be one that found that out 5 years ago.
No, I'm not saying I would have expected that of them at all. Not at all. All right, so let's move on. Yeah. Let's talk about Major League Gaming. Let's talk about Columbus. Let's get started.
We're
going to start right out of the gate.
Before we do that, Jerry, let's bring in one of our guest co-hosts for this episode, because we actually do have someone special here with us that's going to help us.
Amen.
Because Kurt went through the help of helping me out with our guests this week, since I had a little bit of computer issue as soon as I got home, which was good times. But we do have someone from Boss Fight TV joining us here tonight. We are going to actually be getting Josh Engel here with us. You might know him as AnTiPRO. Let's bring him over here onto the show. Boom, there he is. Josh, how are you doing? And as we're getting into the MLG discussion here, how did you enjoy the event?
Well, thank you, first off, for letting me come on the show. My MLG event was rather hectic. If you guys know me from before, I actually used to be a photographer for MLG. And so my only job was to, run around and take photos. Whereas now that I've made the transfer over to Boss Fight TV, which is a project my friends and I have been working on for the past few months, I had to do photos, videos, interviews, articles, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So it was intense, but as always, it was a great experience. I love MLG. I love going to the events. I love talking to people and meeting people. But overall, it was a great experience.
I'm glad to hear that. If you are in the chat right now and watching live, Mohawk Mike from Boss Fight TV just actually posted a link to some of the pictures that Josh here took at the event, and I gotta admit, some of them are really, really cool. I do want to put one up real quick so people can see this. I love the fact that you and I almost took the exact same photo, because I think you and I were right next to each other when this photo was taken, but as our own VVV CDjr won the Mortal Kombat event, he was hoisting the trophy over his head, and Josh ended up snapping this picture right here, and just the glisten in his eyes, the smile, perfect shot. Josh, wonderful photography skills, my man. Any picture in particular?
We didn't ask him. We didn't ask him for permission. We're getting sued. Hold up. Wait up.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Josh, it's funny because and I will can ask CDjr about this when he comes on the show later, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But I'm not going to say that I'm jaded, but I really mean what I'm about to say. Sir Scoots, I think, is still like a 10-year-old child around his team. He gets very, very excited. And I think that's fantastic. His passion is childlike, and this is a compliment. It really is. I'm a bit jaded. Won a few, seen a lot win. And I was watching, and CDjr was very emotional, and I know what this amount of money meant to him because, there's some things he wants to do for his mom. They're absolutely beautiful. None of it fazed me, didn't get emotional. And Adam turns to me and was a little pissed off that they didn't give him Adam Clapp has got... That man has a schedule. He's got every best practice in sports. For those of you that don't know, Major League Gaming will watch a ton of videos and figure out how long before they hand someone a trophy to make sure they're doing it the same way tennis and baseball and everybody else does. They time this stuff. They have a script. There's a lot that goes into it. And he's like, God, he's going to ruin his hero moment. And I'm just kind of chuckling because I think it was Phil, and I knew this was their first event, so it didn't bother me. But they handed him that thing, and he lifted it up, and I don't know what it was in that moment. It had to be like the most perfect trophy lift I've ever seen. And at that moment, it hit me. That was the moment that I thought it was like that I got sort of teary-eyed. And I think you capture the end of that moment perfectly. Like his smile expanded at the same rate that he was raising the trophy. So what was him fighting back tears. He kind of, just as he raised that trophy, this phenomenal smile comes on his face. I think you caught that perfect moment. So it is a great picture.
I agree.
Thank you.
But we're going to actually talk a little bit about MLG, so feel free to join in the discussion with us, Josh. We'd love to have you here for the rest of the episode. If you can, stick around with us. We'll be getting CDjr on here in just a little bit, so in the meantime, let's talk about some of the other fighting games aside from Mortal Kombat.
Why don't we start? Hold on. We'll come back to the fighting games, I think, because I want to get something. Kurt and I were talking, and I hate to do this, but Kurt...
Uh-oh.
Because Kurt and I disagree on something, and I want to get to it right away, and it has nothing to do with 1.6. I swear to God.
Fantastic. All right.
I liked the StarCraft action more than you did, which is rare.
Yeah, I mean, here's Here's the thing with StarCraft what got me with this event. I think it was great StarCraft play. But to me, we see great StarCraft play everywhere now. You know, it's so common seeing great StarCraft play. Whether it's at the Winter Arena, or whether it's at things like ONAR, or Lone Star Clash, or IPL, or you know, WCG, you name it. There's great play everywhere, from, you know, streams online, and it's just constantly everything. So to me, I look for storylines more than anything. And I look for the underdogs coming through. I look for people coming back from continuation sets, and I look through, you know, really emotional moments. And I just didn't really see that many of those in comparison to other events for this event. The MKP storyline was fantastic. I agree there. It was his first, you know, quote-unquote full event winning in front of fans. So it was really good there, but that was it to me. There wasn't a lot of storylines other than that. And maybe it's because MLG worked the stream out to where you didn't see anything but group play pretty much exclusively for 2 days.
Okay, so 2 points there. One, you don't feel there was really a good storyline, something to grasp onto. Two, it got a little redundant not getting any of the stories out of the open bracket. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Josh, I want to bring you in before I come in to see if – I don't know how much chance you had to actually look at StarCraft or follow anything, so I want to give you a chance to comment. And then you too, Jason, before I come in, because I've already set up that I disagree and I want to get some other people's opinion before I say anything.
Well, you know, first off, you know, being someone who covers an event, and even going through, you know, when I was a photographer with MLG, I always tell everyone it's really interesting. Even though I'm at the live event, it's really rare that I catch an entire series, you know, especially with more than one game going on. But throughout the weekend, you know, I do kind of agree with Kurt in the sense of, you know, nowadays with all these tournaments bringing in, you know, some of the top talent, and especially with MLG going through the Winter Arena and all the online qualifiers, you know, they pretty much guaranteed themselves that they would have probably the best talent of any tournament so far this year. But the storyline, especially with MKP, first off, I have to say, not, you know, playing favorites or anything, but MKP is probably one of my favorite players out there. But, you know, seeing him do so well at the Winter Arena, and then seeing him face off against Don Regu for a second time right after the Winter Arena, that was enough for me to make an amazing tournament. But obviously with the open bracket as well, it's really interesting to see, you know, players that don't necessarily, you know, aren't well known in the community, or, you know, people who haven't placed very well, to see them come, you know, from the bottom up, which we saw with Leenock, you know, back in Providence. And that's one of the reasons that I like MLG over a lot of other tournaments, is because there's that possibility that someone can come out of nowhere. But like I said, overall, unfortunately, I plan on going back and actually watching the VODs over the next couple days or so, because I didn't have a lot of time to watch it. But from what I saw, it was a great tournament and a great experience.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, to comment really quickly just on what he was saying, and Jason, I promise I'll let you talk right after this. It's just,
sure you will.
I think one thing to note is that I'm not blaming MLG exclusively for these problems either. It just didn't work out the way that it normally does in the open bracket. There was not a lot of upsets, and even when there was an upset, a lot of the times it would never work out to be a full storyline. You know, I mean, I think as Adebisi, you brought up the great point in chat. Adebisi, by the way, who was an amazing obs throughout the entire event. Amazing guy. His Twitter's AdebisiSC. Please check him out. Sheth took out Polt in a really epic series, but then the very next round he loses to Kawhi Rice. So it's like kind of like crushes your hopes and dreams before you even get there, you know. And you kind of miss the Hey Pro storyline that we had from Providence and stuff like that. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily MLG's fault. It's just kind of the way it worked out. So Jason, I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, it's totally cool. I'm used to it by now. But
I hope so.
I'll break you of it eventually. Wait till I actually get you to an event. But maybe this was a little bit different being there, versus if, you were on stream, Kurt. But the emotion in the venue from StarCraft, I think, is one of those things that it's getting bigger and bigger. Funny story, we were sitting around with some of the fighting game players and Jerry, myself, and we were just talking, and then one of the semifinal matches finishes behind us, and you hear the entire crowd just roaring, jumping out of their seats, and MLGAdam runs up and he's like, "Are those fucking golf claps?" Right? So it was just that emotion that was in the venue from StarCraft, I think, was one of those things that makes the event that much better to me. No matter the results, people were intrigued, and that means that people are getting into the storylines. I enjoy that when there's things that people are talking about, discussing possible results. I feel that is getting better and better by the event. I think that MLG is getting better at telling the stories. They have more stats to work with, and I still think it can only get better in that regard from here. Not to mention, and this is going to be a cheap plug for Josh here, we did have some really great media captured. Like here's another picture, one of the ones that I really like that he had done from the StarCraft side of things. But I don't know. I find it was a good event to watch and enjoy. But Jerry, you said you disagree with Kurt, and I want to hear what you're thinking as well, so please go ahead.
I mean, I think there are two things about the event that I think are sort of significant. One is that I felt that there were more people out in the audience interacting, being around all of the players and stuff. I mean, a lot of matches that involved Huck were phenomenal. I was thoroughly entertained. I do think, as Josh mentioned, the MK Prime story is a really great story. I don't think anybody can deny that, a lot of people were looking for him to finally win one, so to speak. I mean, I think that's no secret, and it's always great when great talent finally has that moment. So, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, all those things were good. To what you said, Jason, I think is also true, is that there was a lot of energy in that space. It may have been one of the most consistent, energetic MLGs I've been at. There wasn't one big moment, but there were no real lulls. It wasn't like there was a downtime or this was boring, or I didn't feel any of that. I felt pretty engaged the whole time, and I felt like the audience was really engaged the whole time, and that doesn't happen very often. Like, to be honest, you don't get that level of consistency, generally speaking, at an event. So I thought that made for a really good event. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't sit at the venue all day and do nothing. I usually, if I'm bored, I leave. Like, anybody who's been to an MLG event, we go, "Oh, where's Lord Jareth? Where's Lord Jareth?" I'm gone. Right? I don't stick around,
You understand one thing, too, is that your experience that you had from being at the event doesn't necessarily translate to a stream either. Like,
absolutely, I agree.
To me, the energy, like, I could tell from talking to people, the energy must have been amazing at this event. I mean, I think Sir Scoot said it topped, all the other events that he's been to. Again, and that's something that's pretty amazing after all the events he's been to, and the same for you, right? I mean, it was a really, really amazing event. That being said, watching from the stream, it didn't seem like as energetic as MLG Anaheim 2011. MLG Anaheim actually seemed more energetic to me, and I'm not sure, exactly why. I'm not sure if it was a problem with MLG or if it was just a problem with the matches and how they laid out. I honestly have absolutely no idea. And by the way, I'm just talking about StarCraft here, not the other streams. And it's just, and once again, I'm being the negative Nancy here. I hate to see really amazing opportunities passed up by MLG. For instance, like the Halo crowd, I really wish they could have figured out some way to get more shots of the Halo crowd, more shots of the Halo teams, more shots of the things on stream like that. Because just hearing the Halo crowd from the StarCraft stream was amazing. Yeah. And they never really cut to the crowd very much on key moments to really cue that emotion, and that's what I think a lot of people that were watching the Halo stream really missed, specifically talking about that. And that, it was really, it missed a lot of those moments. And I'm not sure if MLG would agree, and I would probably get, bitched at for saying it, but in my opinion, it didn't turn out as far as the emotion and the overall way of the event even better than MLG Anaheim 2011.
So, even you're saying you could tell there was some things going on. So maybe from a stream perspective, it may not have been that good, but I thought there was a lot of energy in the room. You know what? Why don't we jump to Halo? Because I want to talk a little bit about Halo 2. And I want to get right to really to sort of the heart of it, because, Halo was on life support. Halo had, kind of the fat chick nobody wanted to take to prom was the feeling. And as soon as we arrived at the event, lo and behold, Halo was there in force. And I thought that was a story. That may be the first time I felt that any community had really come to answer the call as far as MLG gaming events are concerned. It may happen in others, but not at a Major League Gaming this way. And I thought that set the stage for, in a way, they got what they deserved. I think they earned that fantastic final match between Status Quo and Instinct that they got, because they actually showed up to support the game. And I thought it was good. Kurt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I watched a lot of the Halo stream because I wanted to try to support them for just how much they worked their ass off for this event. Somebody said that, yes, Halo is, Columbus is Halo Central. That being said, it doesn't matter. They worked their ass off to make sure that they had their presence known at that event. And that's what I like, man. I like that more than anything, more than all the players showing up and all the spectators showing up for it and all that. I like the fact of just how fucking loud they made sure they were. When key moments of StarCraft shit were going on, I remember the finals for Halo was going on right around the time that, StarCraft 2 finals were kind of going on, and they were starting and stuff like that. And you would hear StarCraft 2 crowd go insane, and then you would hear the Halo crowd right after them. Like, they were on their ass. And I absolutely loved it. So, really, a full applaud to them. I don't necessarily think it's going to save your game, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to be something where you're going to see it at MLG every event. I don't think that's happening, unfortunately. And I really feel sorry for them for that. But really, really amazing event. And if it goes down as the last event for Halo at an MLG, which I doubt it will, but if it goes down as that, it would go down with its head held high, with really, them kicking and fucking screaming, their controllers in the air kind of thing, really good stuff.
Yeah, Jason, I don't want to spring this on you, but we might want to bring in another guest if that's okay.
Okay.
MLG Clap is available and like to hop in, as he's always listening, and probably can shine a lot of good insight on some of the numbers and the other stuff. So the sort of more the merrier, I figure. But before we bring on
so
MLG
I can set
Clap,
that up. So we give me a minute.
Absolutely, I'm going to let you set that up. While we do that,
and just as a note, that this is while we're doing that, I want to say very, very quickly, while we're still talking a little bit about StarCraft and stuff, that, by the way, for people that just missed it, Complexity just announced a new StarCraft 2 player, and it's Gonzi from Slayers. So for anybody that might have missed that, didn't see that on Twitter, they just announced that, so kind of breaking news there. That's amazing. Complexity's not fucking around anymore, guys.
Yeah, well, I think Slayer is having problems. I think that's not a surprise.
Gonzi had left weeks ago, and everybody knew that he would be joining a foreign team, but this is not a heart killer, and now Gonzi. That's a ridiculous roster, man. That's them going, "Hey, EG, we're coming for you, buddy." Yeah.
No, I hear you. Well, I still think they have a way to go, but yeah, I think they definitely. They, at that level of money being spent, they really are the only game in town. So, I think that's good. It's good to see top players get sponsored by reputable organizations. I think all that's good. So all that is good. So now that we know we're going to bring Clap on, and we have CDjr coming on, Jason, you're the Mr. Producer man. So how do you want to handle all this?
We're gonna bring Clap on, so I got to stop talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Well, if you need someone to talk, I can talk about Halo while you bring him in.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm setting up all the shots to make it actually look like it's professional. I was caught off guard there because I have my mic muted. I'm moving shit around trying to make it look good so you don't end up with like pictures on top of pictures and crazy shit everywhere. But I'm excited about this. This is going to be good. I will give my thoughts on Halo real quick as I actually have control of the mic for a second. Yay. But what an event. I mean, I think, and this is just my personal opinion, and maybe Clap will tell me that I'm wrong as soon as he gets on, but I think MLG is going to keep stirring the pot, poking the beast a little bit when it comes to Halo, and they're going to keep the Halo kids on their toes. Say, oh no, your game might not be the next event. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep doing what you're doing to try to get them as energized as possible. I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, Clap himself sent out a tweet that said, hey, nothing set in stone yet. Yeah, Columbus kicked ass, but nothing set in stone for Anaheim. So enjoy Columbus. So I don't know.
I don't know. I think that I'm telling you, it would help the Halo community to not be at Anaheim. Anaheim has never been a big turnout for the Halo community. They just had this big event. Stay home for Anaheim. It's going to be a Blizzard Love Fest anyway. Halo should stay home and wait until it comes back. I think the Halo community should just voluntarily say, you know what, don't worry about it. We're not going to worry about Anaheim. Don't even include us in Anaheim. We'll come back, after Anaheim. Because the West Coast, historically speaking, has just never had good Halo numbers, period. And I don't know why we would expect this all of a sudden to be any different. That's my cut. I'm sure some people in the Halo community may disagree, but I don't think I'm the only one who says, it's better for the sponsors, better for Halo, better for what the brand of Halo is. You just had a good event. A lot of people didn't expect it. The momentum's on your side. If you go to Anaheim and it's a low turnout, then everybody's expectation of Halo turns right back around to shit. It's bad for sponsors. It's bad for people trying to support Halo. I would wait quietly on the sidelines at Anaheim. I wouldn't even bother. I would say let them do something else. And then when it comes back to the East Coast on Raleigh, then go ahead and bring Halo back in if you can, or whatever event after that. But that's just my cut. I mean, a lot of people might be insecure and say, I don't know, we got to do that. But why don't we bring in, if everybody's okay, why don't we go ahead and bring in CDjr?
Yes.
I know a lot of members of the Mortal Kombat 9 community have wanted to, hear who CDjr is, get to know the player. So we are going to bring in CDjr. We're also, so everybody knows, we're watching the stream chat really carefully. So if you want to ask CDjr any questions, yep. Jason and Kurt, they're both looking closely at the stream to basically make sure that we can answer all your questions. So I just want to be sure that you've got questions for CDjr. By all means, please ask them. So we're going to bring him on, and we're going to get right to that. So I definitely want you to any questions, absolutely.
Indeed. We're bringing him on right now.
CDjr, how are you, sir?
Look at that. There we go.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the losers bracket. Congratulations. First place. How has it been? What is this now? Day 2 since it happened? How are you doing?
I'm good. Still kind of shooken up. Can't believe it. First place.
I know, right? Let's get right to it. This is obviously the first major for Mortal Kombat 9 at this level. There was a lot of talk before the event. Was MLG going to be good to the fighting game community? Was it going to be a good event? Were they going to have good casters? Were they going to have stream? For better or worse, CDjr, you're the number one player right now. You're the number one seed. You just won $12,000. You tell us, from a player's perspective, from what you expected or what you thought it was going to be, What's your opinion of your experience at Major League Gaming?
All right. Well, everybody has been asking me that question, and I have to say that I have never been to an event / tournament like MLG in my life. It has been definitely the best tournament event I have ever been to, and nothing comes close. Not any major that I have been to for fighting games, nothing comes close.
What about
Definitely the
Evo,
best.
though? I mean, isn't Evo considered to be the pinnacle of fighting games?
Well, I never been to Evo, so I can't say yet.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So as far as all the other East Coast and other events you've been to, this has been, was there anything that bothered you, or anything you wish that they could have done better?
Well, people from home were complaining about the stream not having a lot of matches and a lot of commercials, but I can't complain about that because I was a player in the tournament, so I can't really say. But in my opinion, I didn't have a problem with the event. Everything was great. Everything was nice. And I really can't wait to go to Anaheim. I really can't wait.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your experience. I mean, you had, and let's forget about winning. I mean, as great as it was to win, for those of you who may not be into the Mortal Kombat scene, there was the winner at Evo, the current reigning champ, the person previous to this event who had won the most was one Perfect Legend who was representing, I do believe, Triforce's Empire Arcadia. Do I have that right?
Yes.
And you practiced with VSM as part of the community of Valley Stream, the Valley Stream Monsters, and the leader, James, put out a bounty on Perfect Legend and said, you know what, this guy was real cocky, he will not defend the title, whoever takes this guy out, you know what, they're going to get a bounty. And lo and behold, top 8, first match, you versus Perfect Legend. Phil interviewed you both. Let's first start with, I mean, you had an edge to you, to be honest. You had an edge. Something happened that I thought made you a little upset with Perfect Legend, and I want you to talk a little bit about that edge you came into that match with.
Well, again, I was pretty confident that I was gonna win. Like, there were no worries in my head. Well, I kept telling everybody, it's not a reality in my head that this guy can beat me. It's just, it can't happen. It will not happen, and he can't beat me. I just can't see it. And I was just like, I was well prepared, but I was actually kind of mad because, he hasn't been attending tournaments, and he has been talking all this smack, and he can't because he hasn't been attending tournaments. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna beat this guy, and then he's gonna have to attend tournaments now if he wants to get the love back from the community. And that was it. And people asked me, so what felt better, winning the whole tournament, beating Perfect Legend? And I had to say, beating Perfect Legend. It felt great. It felt great.
One of the things I think for a lot of people too is that they weren't really aware of how strong the Mortal Kombat community itself felt about this situation. Because I think a lot of people inside the community, from what I were hearing, I think the not defending the title part over and over again seemed to not make a lot of friends inside the Mortal Kombat community.
Yes, a lot of people didn't like that. They kept on asking Perfect Legend, man, when are you gonna go to a major so you could defend the belt, this and that? And he was like, no, I don't gotta go prove anything. I won Evo. I'm the best, this and that, yada yada yada. So yeah, he did earn a lot of enemies, but I think now he learned his lesson and he will be attending tournaments because we just proved at MLG that he is not the best. So if he wants to come and prove that he is the best, he's gonna have to train harder, come to majors, and just show up at tournaments now. Because right now he's not the best. Not anymore. He's not.
Absolutely not. I think it does say something about the quality of competition when the person who took first at Evo struggles to make top 8 at MLG. Just to give everybody a really good snapshot of the quality of competition we had at Major League Gaming, the person who took first at Evo struggles to come into top 8 at MLG. So the talent was definitely there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of that talent. I know you and Rio are very close. You and Rio practice together. Let's not include Rio in this. Who was the competition you were most carefully looking at that you said, you know what, that person I am a little bit worried about. I definitely have to be careful.
Besides Rio?
Besides Rio.
Well, it had to be my brother Maxter and Kerbalicious, just for the fact that they play a character which is the worst matchup for my main, which is Johnny Cage. So I was basically looking out just for my brother and Kerbalicious. I did not want to face them. I did not want them in my pool. And luckily, I beat Maxter, and I also beat Rio, which both of them were using Cage. But yeah, I was just specifically looking out for Johnny Cage players.
Gotcha. So for everybody here who doesn't know, I mean, this is a phenomenal education I got about the Mortal Kombat community. All three of you, your brother Crazy Dominican, and then your brother Maxter, all of you are great, phenomenal Mortal Kombat players. So we have three brothers right here. And on top of that, you have VSM, the group that you guys all train with, that you all from New York. So you have this large storyline of that. And then in a mix of all this talent,
yes,
there's another great story, I think, that came out of this event, and that had to do with Kerbalicious. It's my understanding here's a kid from upstate New York, talked mad trash on the forum, and people said, you are nothing, come to an event, and come to an event he did. And what do you think, CDjr?
He proved himself. He got fourth. He proved himself. And I was, out of everybody in the community, he had like this thing with me. He, in another podcast, he called me overrated. He said that he was going to blow me up, this and that. He was talking all this shit. And then, come to find out, he lost his first match in the tournament. So he was sent to losers right away. And I was like, man, like he talked so much that I was actually mad and kind of sad that he got sent to losers. And I actually wanted him to do to get far in the tournament. And then I went up to him and I was like, dude, don't worry. Even if you're in losers, you can still come back. I went to a tournament myself. I got sent to losers the first match and I won the whole thing. So that kind of like gave him a little bit of motivation. And you know what? He came all the way back and he got fourth place. The kid has talent. He's only 16 years old and he has a lot of talent.
So Kerbalicious definitely now has freedom to talk shit. But you know what? My experience with most shit talkers is once they're at an event and they meet people, they lose a little bit of that edge. I think he kind of proved himself, and I think, and you may disagree, but I think he's going to be more respectable to a certain degree because, he kind of proved it to himself, and that chip on his shoulder has been knocked off a little bit. I mean, he's still not number one, but he definitely has a little more room to talk.
Yeah, he beat a lot of top players, and I went up to him after he got eliminated by Rhea, and I was like, dude, you see, you're finally somebody in this community. You matter now. You're a top player. So like, even though you're 16, stop your bullshit, stop talking so much shit, because people don't like that. And just like grow up a little bit. And he agreed. He was like, you know what? From now on, I'm not gonna talk shit because I proved myself, and you're right, CDjr. And hopefully he keeps his word, and he grows up a little bit, and he's a little bit more mature about stuff on the forums. And yeah, because he deserves it. He proved himself. He's a top player, so now he gotta act like a top player and not like an online warrior.
All right.
I had a few questions.
Go ahead, Kurt.
And CDjr, please excuse me if I don't know some of the character names. I'm new to all that. I'm absolutely awful at everything with fighting games, but I did watch most of the stream. And during the finals, you had switched your character from Smoke to someone else. Who was the other character?
Jax, my main character.
Jax, okay. And I'd seen you play with Smoke a lot, and then you switched to Jax, and you lost a few of the games. Like, what kind of was going through your head there with that switch? Was it just because of the matchup, or were you more comfortable with Jax? What was sort of the decision behind that switch?
All right, there's a little story. At final round, Rio counterpicked my main character Jax with Johnny Cage, because at every other tournament, he will pick his main, which is Cabal, and I will pick my Jax. And in casuals, we go back and forth, but for some reason, at tournaments, I always come on top, and I always beat him. So he got tired of losing. He started learning Johnny Cage. Come final round, when we're facing each other, he picks Cage, and I'm like, really? Like, you gonna do this to your teammate, man? So he kind of picked me. He won the whole tournament. You know, props to Rio. Okay, he got it. And then I was like, all right, you counter pick me. All right, wait for MLG. So MLG comes, and I counter pick him back with smoke. So, yeah, so the thing that we were doing, it was like, all right, I will beat his Cage with my smoke, and then he'll pick Cabal. He'll beat my smoke with his Cabal, then I'll go to Jax. And it was just, we were counter picking each other back and forth until the end, which I won the last match, which was smoke versus Cage. So yeah, it was nothing about me feeling more comfortable with this character. We were just counter picking each other because.
Yep, you broke up. CDjr, what did you say?
No, I said that we just kept on counter picking each other because the matchups, for example, Johnny Cage and Jax is bad. So I pick Smoke, and when I beat his Cage, he will pick Cabal, and then he'll beat my Smoke, and then I'll switch to Jax. So we were just counter picking each other back and forth.
I have a really interesting
Gotcha.
question for you, CD. Very interesting question, and I think you're going to have probably one of the most interesting insights on this question. Because the continuation rule has been the focus of a lot of fire from the fighting game community. And to be fair, if it wasn't for that rule, you would have lost. You would have come in second place because Rio did technically...
No, I got corrected on that, too. I don't think that's true.
Not exactly because...
No?
Yeah, not exactly because at majors, if I'm in grand finals winners... He has to win 2 sets. So basically, he has to reset the set and then beat me again.
Okay, I was thinking of it as a best of 11 right from the front. So my apologies.
Oh, no.
Look at
As,
me.
as sort of a counter follow up to that question, though, what was the general opinion from not only you, but maybe the opinion of the players there, the continuation set? Because I heard some good things on Twitter about the continuation set once people started playing it. Is that how you feel, or are you still kind of in line with the rest of the community?
A lot of people were complaining just for the fact that they're not used to it. You know, they're used to the regular, first to 3, best out of 5, best out of 3 in majors. But I was actually fine with it. Because, look, it actually ended up benefiting me because at the end, I was up by Rio 3-1 because I beat him first in winners. So he had to beat me way more games so he can win the whole tournament. So I didn't have a problem, actually, with the continuation rule. It was fine.
But let me ask you a question. Would you still think it was a good idea if it was a shoe on the other foot? If you were the one that was coming back 3-1?
Well, I mean, I will have to say it will suck, but it will suck, but like I said, it doesn't. I mean, it's good for everybody, I guess, if you're winning, and it's bad for everybody if you're losing, I guess. But
but you could say the same thing about a reset. Yeah,
exactly. It's almost the same thing because if you're coming from losers in grand finals in a regular major, you still got to win 2 sets.
Yeah,
which is actually kind of worse because you have to reset it. So that means you have to win 6 games. Here, I was only up by 2 games, which it was 3-1. So he only had to win 2 more games. Whether if it was a major, he would have to win 6 games. So it's actually kind of good.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I actually want to switch over to Josh here. And Josh, I'm not sure you weren't able. I'm sorry we haven't got you to talk very much yet. But I'm not sure how much you know about fighting games and stuff like that. But from the event, what was your perspective of how the fighting game events went in general, but specifically Mortal Kombat?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I talked to a few people after the event, and I came into the fighting game community, full force. Probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I started picking up Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and playing some games here and there because there's actually a pretty big following. I go to a local Arcade Legacy here in Cincinnati. I do want to say before I make a comment, we here at Boss Fight TV we're actually really rooting for CDjr because of his victory at Winter Brawl, also at Seasons Beatings, which is another tournament that's here in Ohio. So we were rooting for you from the beginning, especially when one of our hometown events going into it. So congratulations on that for sure. But going into talking about the actual event, I have a really big history on the Halo side of things, and the one thing that really hurt me last season is kind of like the lack of hype that the Halo side of things had. And there weren't at least in the beginning of the tournament, I noticed on like Friday and Saturday, the hype was there, but it wasn't I don't know what's the word. It was just lacking a little bit. And then it picked up definitely in the finals of all the games as well. But overall, I think that MLG is doing a really good job with the fighters for sure. I think that, they've proven to the fighting game community that they're really here, to do a great job. And, overall, looking at some of the other, trials on trying to get, the fighting game into esports, there's a big controversy with esports versus the fighting game community. I think that MLG is actually doing the better job right now. But overall, the Mortal Kombat games, they were awesome. I actually got to watch a lot of Mortal Kombat games. King of Fighters, I didn't get to watch a lot of. But I think overall, like I said, it's a good thing for esports, and I think that MLG is really kind of doing a good job on trying to bring the fighting game community, into esports, especially with bringing the community casters, people from the fighting game community, to come in and cast. Like Phil did a great job, and then all the other people backstage and everything. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
Yeah, and I got another quick question for you, CDjr, and Josh, please feel free to jump in on this after CDjr. We're going to have Clap on here in a little bit, MLGAdam, who's is a big force over at MLG, and I want to hear your opinion as a player on not being able to hear the casters in the crowd. So that's really kind of one of those things that the quote-unquote fighting game community doesn't necessarily like. The fact that it's kind of hard to get hype when you can't hear the casters kind of getting hype behind you and really supporting the players and stuff like that. Do you think that would distract you more if the casters were sort of, you could hear the casters, or what do you think should be done about that? Like, do you like the fact that the way it is now, that you can't really hear the casters in the crowd, that it's just the game, they're just showing the game and you guys and stuff? Or would you much rather prefer the crowd actually hear the casters and sort of hype it up like that?
Well, what do you mean, if I'm playing or if I'm just like watching?
Both. So as a player perspective, I mean, you're going to be playing at the event either way. So,
well, when I play, I like to have headsets on because, but this is actually kind of stupid for me at least, because when I hear people rooting for me and getting hyped for me, I start playing bad, and because I try to show off and do things that I won't normally do, because they're rooting for me and they're getting me hyped. So I would rather just like have a headset on and just listen to the game as a player, like me playing. But me, if I'm watching, if I'm a spectator, I wouldn't mind just hearing the casters. Like I really don't mind.
Gotcha.
But,
okay.
But if I'm playing, I really just like to concentrate on the game and just listen to the game.
Josh, what's your opinion on this? I want to get your opinion real quick too about just being able to hear the casters, because I know that was a problem with Halo too. Mm-hmm. Is that you can't hear the casters in the crowd. StarCraft kind of overshadows that right now.
Right. Well, I think this has actually been, like you said, a really big controversy at MLG, at least with all the games that they do. And I believe that it actually was Adam that tweeted out to someone, was like, hey, like, we can't make like a 10-person sound booth that we can put the players in, if you have a coach as well, so you have 10 people. But if you look back at way back in the day at MLG, and like the 2010 was the last year that they had the old setup, and they had commentary going out to the crowd. I think that with fighting games, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because especially talking about, a game like a fighting game, there's no, strategy that's being revealed with the casters. So I don't think it's that big of a problem, at least with the fighting game side of things. I think with Halo, yes, it does kind of bring, the hype level down. I'm with everybody else. I think it would be, really good to see it on the Halo side of things. But and if I'm not mistaken, I think I did hear some commentary going out to the crowd. I'm not sure if they always did, but I could have swore I heard commentary when I was over on the fighting game side of things.
There was a little it started out having some commentary, but then as it moved forward, they took that commentary away. So I don't know what. I mean, we'll have Adam on. We can ask him all those fine details. I do think for the fighting games, it would be great to have commentary, maybe one single booth that you could fit in both players and the console, so both players are isolated in one single booth. That would be my fix, and then we could hear the casters, because I thought, honestly, there's a lot to be learned from frame rates to what a frame trap means. I mean, there's a lot that goes on in fighting games that is not just about timing and combos, and I think we need to give the audience time to really appreciate what makes the top players so skillful. And I'm not sure the average audience is going to get that if the Mortal Kombat community isn't, one, creating some content, and two, we don't have quality casters who can explain that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can get sort of the both sides of the argument. I would love to hear what, number one, MLG has to say about it, and I would love to hear what the players have to say about it, if they're comfortable with sort of the community, or not the community, the crowd hearing the casters. I'd be really interested in just hearing the general consensus of that, because to me, I would think it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It's not like there's any sort of ghosting going on or anything like that with the stream, but it might affect a person's play, how the caster is talking about you. But like CDjr said, a lot of the players wear headsets and headphones and earphones and stuff like that anyway. You see that a lot in fighting games, a lot more than the other game. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be an interesting topic to talk about. Interesting topic.
Right. And I do want to say, I apologize to Clap. I could have swore that they did pump the commentary out to the crowd, but I was wrong, so I apologize for that mistake. I just wanted to get that out there. You know what?
Speaking of which, we're going to let CDjr go here, and we're going to get Clap on. Manny, I don't know how to tell you this. This is the start of something great. Congratulations on your first place. And I know the story, but a lot of people have asked. $12,000. You got any plans for that?
Well, like I told you, and I don't mind telling the public. I'm gonna give more than half of the money to my mom for a house that she wants to buy.
So cool.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna save the rest of the money. But my mom is gonna be getting most of the money for a house that we want to buy.
CDjr, I have a really quick follow-up question for you, buddy, because I think it's a good question to end on. And Jerry,
okay.
If you don't agree, tell me. But during when you were accepting the trophy, and after all this has happened, you got really emotional. But I don't mean to call you out on stream, because I know that's a hard thing to do. But you got really emotional, man. And it was one of those times in esports that really just made me really proud of the community, proud for Jerry and Jason to have really, an amazing player like you. Proud to just see somebody that emotional. You don't really see it that much anymore, believe it or not. You really don't. Somebody with that much emotion and is sort of expressing it on stage. What was kind of going through your head there, man? Like, what did it all just sort of hit you at the same fucking time?
Well, to be honest with you, I kind of knew it was coming. I was trying so hard not to cry, but then I just thought about my brothers, and I just had flashbacks of us training when the game came out. Just us. I was just seeing me, Max, and Chris Dominican just training every day, and I just got really emotional because, to be honest with you, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you guys. I wouldn't be VVV. I wouldn't be a gamer. They're my training partners, and I owe my video game career to them. They taught me everything I know about video games, and I just got really emotional because I just thought of them.
Well,
you make me emotional hearing you.
Keep it up. Yeah, I hope you keep it up, man, and don't just despite how much you win, don't become an asshole, because I think you're a really good guy, and I think that emotion that you have is a really, really big part of who you are. So great job, man. I was really proud of you.
When I say this, CD, you gave me goosebumps. Like, I got chills because, I mean, I don't even think you saw in the heat of the moment, but both Josh over here and myself were standing right in front of you as you accepted the trophy. And I swear to you, I had goosebumps up and down my arms because we could feel it there in the crowd. It was such an awesome moment. And honestly, I'm so glad I was there to share it with you. It was really, really cool. I think everyone here is incredibly happy for you, especially hearing what you're doing with the money. That's absolutely awesome. Once again, thanks, congratulations, man. And thank you so much for taking some time out and joining us tonight. Anybody you'd like to give shout-outs to before you head out?
Well, I would like to give a shout-out to Arturo. Arturo, man, he was there just fighting for us, man, the fighting game community. He deserves a lot of respect. Shout out to MLG for putting up a great event. Adam, Sundance, all of them. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to VSM. And also shout out to the MK players that came from the West Coast, man. Right. Yeah, just a shout out to BBB, of course.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. CDjr, there's one quick question I want to follow up from the audience. Are you going to go to Power Up?
I won't be attending Power Up. I will be, because the same weekend as Power Up, there's this local tournament, and whoever wins first place wins a paid trip to Evo Evolution. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go and try to win it for one of my brothers.
Look at that. He can't help himself. He cannot help himself. You are a good man, Manny. You have a good night. You made a lot of people. You made a lot of people feel a lot this weekend, Manny, and I just want to say congratulations and enjoy it. All right.
All right. Thanks. Thank you, Paradise, for having me on the show, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. Take care. That's CDjr, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Next we are gonna go, Jason, Adam
Apicella.
Wow. I know. I caught. He's all grown up now. We're not going to call him Pep anymore. You know why? Because when we start, I'm afraid that when Adam and I get together, I don't know, we could preach. Like, there could be like a ball of spiritual energy of angst.
Oh, dear God, no.
Can you imagine Adam and I, we start getting hot about something, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, lightning strikes, thunder comes in. Really great.
This is like one big giant ball of Counter-Strike haters. I can't handle it.
How did we go from a phenomenal story like CDjr, just one of those class acts, to you bringing in
Counter-Strike? Really?
Yeah. And you even include Adam in all that, right? All right, so we are going to bring on the man. He does have a camera, from what I understand, Jason.
Oh, okay.
So why don't we take a quick commercial break, Jason? You want to do that?
It's cool. It's cool. I'll adjust. It's fine. No worries. Bring him in. Let's go.
Okay, let me do that.
I got it.
And,
I got this. Oh, look at it. Oh, I am going to... I'm actually going to read that verbatim just because I think it's funnier. Jerry just typed to me very angrily, "Run a commercial, fucker." That
with
makes
about
it...
30
it's Fu-Icker.
Oh, it's Fu-Icker.
Yeah, you could tell like he was trying to play it off like, "Oh, let me do that," and the entire time you was typing, "Run a commercial, you fucker."
Yeah, well, that's one of those rare things. But since Jason ruined that, just like, I don't know if anybody realized, but Jason kept typing in the Skype channel, and we kept hearing the dings on CDjr's mic, and I was like, it was killing me. It was driving me nuts. I thought I was going to die, actually. But it's good you fuckers are doing this, because it'll just send me... my room just got a few degrees warmer. Oh, someone's getting shit on tonight.
Do I feel a rant coming on, Jerry?
I feel a rant coming on.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you're going to be here live. Let me say that now. Just send me... my room just got a few degrees warmer.
I like that Adam comes in. You can actually hear his stream, too. That's cool. So, Adam, you're going to have to turn that down for us, buddy. Maybe some headphones? Maybe some headphones? That'd be cool. See, this is why we should have taken a commercial break. I see what Jerry... Shut up, Jerry. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Don't even
I'm thinking I'm normally right. I'm thinking, I've done this once or twice before.
Hey,
Rumor has it.
106 times plus, actually. Right?
Yep.
Oh, look! We made Adam go get a microphone. Look at him.
I know we're
headset.
horrible like that. All right, while Adam gets a headset and gets himself set up, Jason, I'm going to let you introduce Adam here, and then we'll get into it. He's such a man of action. Look at him.
Look at him. Oh, he already has a mic. I'm going to actually edit this and take away that MLG symbol in just a second and get his beautiful face in here. But, Adam, I see you sporting one of your new MLG Nike jersey jackets that you got over there. Pretty sweet. How are you doing tonight, Adam? And what did you think of Columbus and the event that you just put on?
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely can.
All right. Now, what was the question again? Sorry. Just running around getting a
no
mic.
No worries. How did you enjoy MLG, and how are you doing tonight, my man?
No, MLG Columbus was great. I'm doing great tonight. I just took a day off and ready to get back to work tomorrow.
That's awesome. Yeah, so give us some details. What are some inside stats that we got from the event? How do you feel that the event went down? Halo. Let's start with Halo. I mean, a lot of people want to hear Halo. We've been talking a lot about fighters. We can get back to fighters in a minute, but what did you think? I feel like they really showed up. What are your thoughts?
I think Halo did amazing. I was really proud of them. We didn't quite sell out, so I didn't hit my guarantee, so maybe my CFO will still fire me. But we did really awesome. I was really proud of those guys. I think some of the format changes helped. I think community getting a wake-up call helped. And I think putting in the change of the commentary, nothing against the guys we used to have in there, but adding in, I think Bravo's just has limitless potential. And I think Walshy, just comes with built-in, amazing clout. And there's,
Sure.
I was pretty happy with all the changes we made. So I think it went really well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. The FFA. Holy crap. I don't think I've ever seen that many Halo players at one point in one place in my entire life. That was just, the energy was there. The finals were great to watch. Josh, you were there as well. What are your thoughts there for Adam? Got any feedback for him?
Well, overall, my roots, like I said before, came from Halo, and I was really afraid for the Halo community, especially going into it. And I remember, Adam and Sundance and everyone else at MLG was tweeting out like, hey guys, look, this is Columbus. If you guys can't sell out, like, what do you want us to do? I think that the crowd was there to kick ass, and I think that they did. And I think that overall, MLG as always did a fantastic job, with Halo, especially, with the production value as well. And that's with StarCraft too. I love that you guys brought the crane cam back. That was awesome. Need one over on the Halo side though. But other than that, it was awesome. I'm glad that the crowd came out. If Halo shows up at Anaheim, awesome. If it shows up later on, maybe when it comes back to the East Coast. But I guess I'm just curious. Adam, if you can reveal anything on if it's going to come back or not, or what the whole plan is with that.
Putting me on the spot, huh?
I'm
right out of the gate.
I'm throwing it on the table.
More, jeez.
So like I've gotten crushed on Twitter. And some of it, like the overwhelming majority, has been really positive, and then there's just some the very vocal minority, which is always the case, that really makes me never want to run a Halo tournament ever again. But luckily, they're the vast minority. My completely honest answer is I haven't had a single conversation with a coworker after working nearly 90 hours in a week like last week. I traveled home yesterday, and I spent some time with my family today, and the honest answer is we don't know. So we need to talk about it, and we need to plan it out. We don't make any decisions in haste anymore, and we should know soon. We're not going to leave everyone hanging. I promise you that.
Adam, I want to jump in and start talking about some of the questions that pop up a lot, and I've had to answer them. I'm going to start with one thing that I really think is hard to answer in 140 characters. There's a long history behind it, and the reason for the continuation rule has been a part of Major League Gaming for a long time, and hopefully you can give the definitive answer here. So every time somebody asks, can say, look, Adam answered that. It was already answered. Here it is. So if you don't mind sharing the continuation rule, where it come from, and why it exists.
I'll do you one better. I won't answer it because I will say that I'm not adequately equipped to answer it and to do it full justice. I will say, though, that we finally are going to release the MLG Kraken, and we're going to let our commissioner go on too. I believe he's going to go on State of the Game. And
Oh, no.
So Mr. Nelson is going to be on State of the Game.
And these guys can throw whatever they want at him. John Nelson's literally Rain Man from, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. He's a walking computer. And I'm fully confident that just from a mathematical perspective, he's going to explain his side of it, and it's going to make sense. And if people
that fucking shirt that he wore was so funny. I was when whoever you posted or Sundance posted, I just could not stop laughing. For those that don't know, Jason, if there's any way you can pull up that picture, I think it's on Lee Chin's Twitter. Please pull it up because it's so funny. It's basically the shirt was just I created extended series and I created extended series and it was so funny, guys, so funny. But yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. No, I mean, that's good. So we got that. So what were some of the things for you, Adam, that you think, we could have done that better? I know we talked a little bit about opening with King of Fighters, and maybe that wasn't the best choice, and how you felt about the programming on that side. What do you think about how some of that went as far as the first time having 3 of these fighting games on?
Well, I am MLG's biggest critic. I ride my guys pretty hard about what we do. I ride myself pretty hard because ultimately I'm responsible for it. But I felt like we made a few huge errors with across all the titles. Not like huge, but like in terms of noticing details. For StarCraft to start, for all the games, we didn't start our broadcast till like 12:40 on Saturday. We didn't start it till, I want to say 11 a.m. or maybe 11:40 on Sunday. There's absolutely no excuse to ever run at tournament time without broadcast going out. That's going to be rectified, and that won't happen again. The fighting games. First time out, Arturo did an amazing job, but Arturo walked in on Wednesday or Thursday whenever he got there, walked backstage, and he goes, "Holy shit. I cannot believe I have all these toys." And, we started out with 25 competitors at King of Fighters, and we did our best to fill content. And we had a team back there that was learning on the fly with, I would say, real television equipment when they're used to using XSplit. So we knew the broadcast was not going to be where we wanted it to be. That will be addressed. I mean, Arturo's in New York City. We expect him to be in on that same exact equipment in our studio working and proving that. So the Fighting Games stream will be infinitely better for the next event. Also, for the Fighting Games setup, I didn't like, after seeing it, I didn't like that there were so many chairs in front of the stage, and then a feature station, and then a tournament staff area, then the open stations. I think that it needs to be more immersive near the stage so that the community can really be near the stage. And the energy is, it's closer from the open, like the guys playing in open, so they can spectate more easily in the main stage, and it's not like so far flung. And Halo obviously was 2 hours late on Sunday, and that's just the fact that on Friday, and that's because we got 300 walk-ups for FFA, and John Nelson made a bracket for 1,000 people on the fly. So, those are my improvements. That's what I took away from the event, what we can do better.
Awesome, thanks.
Here's that picture, by the way. I just threw it up on stream of the shirt that you were mentioning before. So for everyone that wanted to see it, it is there on the stream. But go ahead, Jerry, you were saying? No,
I was just going to add, Adam, sort of switching gears here real quick. There has been so many changes going on around, and we were talking earlier about the World Cyber Games going all mobile and the sort of changes in the industry. And I wanted to get your thoughts on what do you think motivated them to have to make that change, and is that good for you? No, doesn't matter. Will you ever be doing mobile games? What impact does it have on Major League Gaming?
I always try to have I always try to remain very honest when I give my opinion, and I don't want to blow smoke up. I don't want to be political PC about this. I'm just going to say we don't like to talk about our competition at MLG, and I don't think it's fair for me to say my opinion on this because it's we don't like to talk poorly about our competitors, or people that are in this space as well. So I'm not going to say that I agree with the decision, and I don't want to really assess it because I think my honesty would be pretty brutal. So I would say that, on the simplest terms, I don't agree with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming arenas. A lot of people may say, you know what, we get StarCraft. You want to do something in the fighting games as an arena. What drives those decisions? If someone were looking, saying, in the future, what are the things that happen that make sure that we get to keep seeing that content? If I'm a fighting game fan, I'm like, heck yeah, I get to now watch, the top 8 Mortal Kombat players and Soul Calibur players do this again. What drives those kind of decisions?
Well, I mean, at its simplest form, or one simple factor is publisher support. I mean, Sony, Namco, everyone involved in the fighting game space really wants this to happen, and they're helping us to make it happen. So Sony is the biggest supporter of the fighting games community out there, and they're a big reason why the helping us, really make this fighting games thing happen. And the potential arenas coming out are direct result of that. And Blizzard supports the hell out of us. And the arenas are pay-per-view, but at the end of the day, Blizzard helps us out, and they want it to happen, and they support us in any way they can. And the players want to watch it. And I mean, the fans want to watch it. So there needs to be a demand for video consumption out there, and I think both of those communities, meet the mark there.
All right, Adam, it's my turn, buddy. Jerry was talking about the arenas, and first off, I would like to applaud you guys. The new arenas for spring season, a lot better than the last arena, and the layout, in my opinion, having the open sort of the open element to it, doing the thing from the top 32 from each ladder, I think is a very interesting idea. I think I understand why you guys did that, and the thought process behind that with Blizzard. That being said, I do want to ask a question as far as if you can share it at least, what exactly is the reason behind making this process with the arenas, the qualification to the arenas, the invite systems, and all this so cumbersome and so over confusing to people? Because it is a very, very confusing, and what I would say, just in my opinion, from what you guys are looking to get, probably a little bit too cumbersome for the just simply trying to get stream numbers and things like that.
It's not about stream numbers at all. In terms of the qualification system, we're before we ever streamed a competition, our competition still happened in a room even before Ryan Thompson stepped in and invented how we deliver video. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to have the fairest way for the best competitor in the room to win a competition. It's very important for us that the players that have earned it to a degree don't have to go through something. If I was new to the scene and I've never stepped foot in any type of tournament, I would want to have a mechanism to be able to compete, and I think we provide that. However, if I've been on the scene and I've competed and I'm ranked through whatever metric, I don't think it's fair to have to go through 1,000-person ladder or whatever to have to compete or to reprove myself. And I think it's a fair balance of that. Yes, it's confusing, but I think it enables new players to get in, and it still recognizes players that have had success in the past. So, yeah, I mean, that's my best answer for you. I mean, if you want to follow up with something, but we got.
Yeah, I mean, what about the people that say that that's not necessarily, in their opinion, the best way to go? That people should have to sort of fight for the spot that they get each time, continue to fight for their invite to things. I mean, we see players. The player system right now is very, very volatile. You see a player like Idra do amazingly well at one event, and the very next month he does shit, and he can't get out of the open bracket. It happens. What do you say to people that are that say, hey, these people don't deserve to be invited to the same spot every event? Because
they're not, though. We've changed it. You can't complain about it being confusing and then complain about it being grandfathering people. I mean, you still have to earn it. There's no two ways about it. And we've really, I believe we've addressed what everyone's complaints were about last year. You really still have to earn your spot. The tournaments have a way shorter memory, but they still have to have a memory, and it's a fine line we walk down that. But I mean, I feel like we've done a good job as best we can right now, balancing 3 global regions with millions of players, and how to best get those guys directly inserted into our competitions.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say you guys have definitely done a better job than last arena, and damn sure done a better job than last year with keeping.
You're still banned, by the way, from any event. So there's nothing you're going to say here that's going to let you back in the room.
Oh, I try.
That's why you don't go to an MLG event ever, Kurt. I think you're afraid. Adam's going to go.
That's why we couldn't wear jerseys at this event. We were covert ops. No, but I will say that the problem still, in my opinion, is that you do still have those players that get filtered so much directly into everything. Because, for instance, the last arena was invite only, and you're inviting, and because it was invite only, you had those players that did well at that event go into pool play. They had to play, let's say 4 matches, and if they did well in those 4 matches, they placed high enough to be automatically seeded into the Spring Arena 1. Well, if they're automatically seeded into Spring Arena 1, the top 4 from that get automatically seeded again into pool play for the finals of spring championships. So it's still filtering those same players over and over and over again, because if you get into that Spring Arena, especially Spring Arena 1, it's going to be incredibly hard to get players out of that, because they only have to win 4 matches.
Opportunity is never given, man. I mean, you still have to earn it. I mean, look at Hart. He went out and got in a pool and throttled the fuck out of giving the opportunity. I mean, you still have to go in there, and if you're in the pool, you come to the open bracket. Yeah, it's hard, but you still have to earn it once you're there. And I still feel like the best player when put in a room is going to win a match. And yeah, the road's harder for people that weren't there, but I really feel like we did a very fair job, man. And we gave everyone every opportunity to get onto that stage. I mean, Stefano didn't make the open bracket. Would I love to have Stefano at the arena? Would I do, or have a boxer at the arena? I would die to have those guys at the arena. It's silly to say that they don't affect stream numbers and who's interested in watching. But on the other hand, we need to remain objective, and we need to ensure that what we're doing is making sure the best player wins a match. And yeah, some people start out with an advantage, but I still argue with you that they earned it.
All right, I'm going to hop in if that's okay, Kurt.
Let me get one last question. And I'm trying to find it. I want to make sure I say it. Okay. For Spring Arena 2, you guys do have the ability to add 4 additional players at your disposal. What's the reasoning behind that? Is it have something to do with just Koreans and their relationships with getting to Spring Arena?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
So for Spring Arena 2, you guys have the ability to add 4 additional players to Spring Arena without them being invited or without them qualifying or anything like that.
You want to know what the honest answer for that is yet? Right now, the completely honest. We don't know how to do it because it didn't mathematically match up. So it's either we're going to extend extra invites to regions. So say, like, for example, 2 more for Korea, 1 more for Europe, 1 more for North America, or something like that. Or maybe we are saving them for some other league that might come involved. I don't know. I mean, if you do the math, 4 plus 8, 4, 8, and 8, it's 28 players. So we just wanted to kind of not make a decision right out of the gate and then decide once we've kind of thought about it more. And that's the most honest answer I can give you.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I understand you didn't, and I think that's why it's not making a decision on the cusp.
And there's one thing I hate about other tournaments such as I don't like invite only for pools or whatever else. I know we did it for Arena to a degree, but there was a qualification element and there was a metric for how they earned it. I hate WWE tournaments, and I think there's a lot of them out there that think it's okay just to give people a subjective advantage. I think it's complete bullshit, and we will never do that. We will always have.
I'm glad you agree, Adam. I'm glad you agree.
Oh, I hate it with a passion, and so does that's core values. So, all right, that's all I got.
But talking about the invite only, I read the actual MLG press release the other day, and I have a quick question on the open qualifier. In there, in the wording, you say that this is the first time you've worked closely with Blizzard to invite top Battle.net players to participate in one of our competitions. The top 32 from each of the NA and EU Blizzard Grandmaster ladders will be invited to compete, and then anyone else can register for the remaining spots. How many of those spots are going to be given to those players, and how many are going to be like you can just sign up?
I honestly don't remember. It's okay. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm more like the macro guy pulling strings on everything. John Nelson's the guy to ask that. I want to say it's 8 players from Grandmasters per region, but it might be more. I don't know. Maybe it might be substantially more. But after that, the rest is supposed to be open.
I misread that then. So it's not 32 from each.
Maybe it is, Kurt. I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't want to go on a record.
All right, I'm bored. You guys have bored me. I don't want to hear anything more about this stupid.
I don't want to talk about this shit.
I don't give a shit.
Fuck you, Jerry.
I heard my questions. Here we go. We're gonna ask some tough questions. 1, Adam, are you gonna do a fighting game arena between now and Anaheim?
Oh, God damn it, Katie. I'm sorry. Yes.
All right, there you have it. Live on a loser's bracket. There will be a fighting game arena. Sorry, Katie.
Sorry, Katie.
Yeah,
I have nothing to do with them. I still need my. I love my press.
Look, Kurt, there's not going to be any fucking Counter-Strike Go on the.
I'll tell you right now, we want to support those that support us. So I'm probably going to bring back the top. I'm probably going to push to bring back the top 8 from Soul Calibur and Mortal Kombat, which is I can pretty much go on a limb here and say that they're going to be on the circuit for the rest of the year. I'm probably going to bring back the top 8 from both of those events to New York City. So yes. We are going to have a France versus USA rematch in New York.
You know what, Adam? I'm just going to tell you something. I am really happy to hear that the whole idea of supporting people who support you, you're kind of – I'm not even going to rant tonight because all I was going to do is say, it's about time we stop using terms like fighting game community and start looking at the communities like Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur who were genuinely deeply appreciative of the fact that you've given them that opportunity.
Dude, listen, Gary, listen. Kion, how do you pronounce the name? Kiane and Kiev. They emailed me. They begged me. Said we wanted desperately to come to this. Can you help us with flights and hotel? And I said, I'm very sorry. I can't. I'll give you guys both free entry, and that's even pushing. This event needs to be a success. And it's not about the money. It's just I don't want to get in the habit of giving out free entry because it looks like subjective, help to somebody. But they came over. They bought their own tickets. Their team didn't even support them. They were there. The guy won. They had to play each other early, and she still placed in top 8. We love that shit. We're going to bring them back. We have an arena. I'm going to push, to have, those guys come back for the arena, and we'll pay for their flight. We'll pay for their hotel, and they're going to come and put on some great matches and play, the other guys in top 8.
That's awesome.
So, I think it's great to hear that you can go out on a limb and say it's going to be here probably for the rest of the season. So that's announced. So if you're a Mortal Kombat 9 fan or if you're a Soul Calibur 5 fan, you should be happy. More importantly, if you're kind of hemming and hawing, should I get involved in Mortal Kombat? Should I get involved in Soul Calibur 5? Sounds to me like 2 games that generally have, to be fair, been sort of piggybacked on Capcom events, kind of stuck in the corner from some of the horror stories I heard from the Mortal Kombat players. Now those titles get their day. And Adam, I'm assuming that obviously the community has to show up. They've showed up. But obviously the developer relationship is critical in having this happen. Is that true?
Oh yeah, most certainly. I mean, you saw Filthy Rich at the event, and just to take credit for it, Filthy Rich was hired by MLG. He was already a big community figurehead, but I feel like he definitely used us as a platform to get his job, and I'm really proud of him. And it's good to see him come back on a different level, working directly for Namco as one of their like big community guys. And
one of the best event MCs ever, in my opinion.
He's back. I mean, the Mortal Kombat guys. I mean, they went above and beyond. They really want this game to be a success. And there's a few things. I said this before, Jerry. Like or hate our rules, they'll never change the day of the event. Our prize money will always be paid. Those are two core tenets that MLG has had since 2003. Back in the early days before the venture capital everyone likes to tell horror stories about. It used to take a while, and we got a lot of shit from the fighting games community for it, but we paid them out. They're all paid. And I think I told somebody from 2004 that messaged me on Test Your Might, said, I'm still owed $200 from MLG San Francisco. I'll give him $200 if he comes to Anaheim or gives me his address. We're going to figure it out. And anybody that's owed money, we'll always pay it. And, these guys need to realize that we're going to have $16,700 every event they come to. So start practicing, period.
Wait, how much?
$16,700 per fighting games title is a minimum, and our budget's pegged for the rest of the year.
Does that include arenas?
No. The arenas will have a prize, and it will be more than
Katie's
most majors.
Hate you.
But the arenas are going to have money.
This is payback for what Sundance did on the show last week.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sundance has got to be tweeting, God damn it! Just like you were doing.
I want to build. I mean, the Juicebox guy. I mean, I've been exchanging emails with him. Amazing.
He's actually here in the stream right now in the chat.
Well, that's we're gonna have him learn all the games. He's gonna be day 9 at FGC. I think he's got charisma you can't teach, and I was impressed with Arturo. All those guys. This isn't to diminish anything that the commentators we hired did. I really feel like we won some fans, and those guys busted their ass for us, and Arturo did an amazing job. And like I said, on equipment he's never used before, and we're going to do big things, and I hope people tune in. We're going to fix the stream. We're going to fix the commercial shit. We're reading everything, and we'll get it right. We always do.
Adam, I got to be honest, between you and Sonny, momentum has shifted. You guys you feel to me like you're sprinting a little more. There's a little less walking on eggshells, a little less the dance, and more of the that's it, we're going. And you do have momentum coming out of Columbus. I think, even though whether or not you decide to keep Halo or not, the community showed up. The FFA was wildly successful. I think that drove attendance. StarCraft obviously strong as always. First time you've ever done a Mortal Kombat event. First time you've done Soul Calibur 5, and bam, community shows up. Great matches, international matches.
But no, wait, let me clarify something there real quick. Everyone says we have never run fighting games tournaments. We ran Soul Calibur all year in 2004 inaugural season. RTD wore his 2004 championship shirt all day on Sunday. We do have roots here, and we have run fucking tournaments. I'm so sick of saying we've never earned it. We didn't have the money to pay that prize money. I didn't get a salary for a fucking year. We ran these tournaments. We paid out that prize money. We ran these events, and it was grassroots as every FGC out there and every FGC event out there. And say we haven't earned our right to run a fighting games tournament, it just kills me because proof's in the pudding, man. We did it. I mean, go back and look.
I stand corrected. Why don't we address some of your critics for a while? I've had people come on, and we've gotten into those conversations where it's clear that, and I think it's fair after talking to the Mortal Kombat community a lot this weekend that I think it's unfair that we just say FGC, or let's not make FGC run by the Capcom community, because it's the Capcom community seems to be the ones that are your biggest critics, not the Mortal Kombat 9 community seems deeply grateful. You mentioned Soul Calibur 5, who I did not speak to them the way you did seem deeply grateful. I think to lump them all together now doesn't seem to make as much sense to me, because I think your critics are coming from the Capcom community, to be fair.
So if I picked up Warhammer or whatever other online RTS out there, I mean Warcraft 3, do I have to? Is it like RTS community only? I treat titles as titles. I mean, period. And we want to have we want to have rule sets and whatever else treatment of the stars in their respective community as stars in their respective communities, and we respect the roots and the history of everything. But I mean, we just want to run great events, and it's just frustrating to just constantly have myths created about these transgressions in the past that just never occurred. I mean, I started here when I was 21. I've said this story before, and I've been here for 10 years, and I feel like the same kids that ran it when we started, with a dream and no budget, are still the same ones running it. I mean, there's no difference. So people can say whatever the hell they want. I mean, but you come and you meet us, and you come to our events, and you'll see the truth. So,
let me ask you another quick question here, buddy. The Capcom has sort of settled in, not necessarily settled in, and I understand you can't elaborate too much on this, but they have done some stuff with IPL recently. We're hearing that it'll probably be an IPL 5, if there is an IPL 5, and all that. So we're hearing good things with that, with Capcom working with them. But Capcom's always had this sort of weird relationship with MLG, kind of treating you guys like the kids in the corner kind of thing. They don't really want to work with you. I want to know, are you guys still trying to actively seek Capcom games, or are you just like, fuck it, we're going to seed our own sort of community here for the games that are popular but not as popular as some of the Capcom games?
We spent a quarter of this year, first all winter season, we spent it apologizing, sent it backpedaling, we spent it re-clarifying. We had to fix some mistakes that people made internally, whether it's membership to whatever else, and and this all if you look back to Dallas last year when it was a complete fucking disaster. This quarter was a lot of healing. The rest of this year is going to be a lot of offensive. You're going to see a lot of announcements coming out even in the next 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, earth-shattering, gigantic MLG announcements. I wish I could say them all right now, and they're not just like all in the same vein of topic. They're distinct, and they're in multiple areas, and I'll say that it's gigantic game breakers. And, I just want to work with people that want to work with us. We've been doing this for 10 years. It's not just about the money we've spent in it. We've spent a lot of, blood, sweat, and tears making this happen. And, if the people that want to work with us, we're going to continue to work with them. And if people don't want to work with us, that's fine. I wish them the best, but I'm not going to beg anymore. And I'm going to work with the guys that, support us back.
As well you should. As well you shouldn't. I'm not going to ask you to, we were all going to get these announcements in the next couple of weeks. You mentioned earlier something else. I got a lot of comments all of a sudden when MLG, GSL kind of stuff. I'm assuming you're going to do bigger things. Are you going to do bigger things than StarCraft? A simple yes or no.
Wait, what was the question?
You're going to do of these announcements that you're talking. They're going to be in various areas. Does any one of them particularly relate to StarCraft?
Yes, multiple do.
Multiple do, obviously.
Distinct StarCraft 2 different topics. So yes.
Right, so big things in StarCraft 2. Somebody else mentioned you didn't say anything about King of Fighters 13. It had a low turnout, not a lot of people. Is King of Fighters done, or not sure yet, or not definite, or that's definitely not going to work?
We'll see. I want to talk to Arturo. I will definitely say this. The only reason why we had that money to spend for King of Fighters is because we didn't have time to run an arena for fighting games. So we used that money to run that. But I will say that if I can definitely say we can beat pretty much every major out there in terms of prize money if King of Fighters fans are okay with that. Would they show up for a $5,000 prize pool? If that's the case, then I could probably swing it. But if they want $16,700, I probably can't, to be honest with you, budget-wise.
Gotcha. Let's talk a little bit.
I got a question real quick. Sundance tweeted something earlier today, and when we're in the topic of talking about games that are going to be at different events, he actually tweeted earlier today, I fully expect to have a MOBA title at Anaheim. Details will be made public shortly. Any hints, points in the right direction? I've got my own guess considering Blizzard's right there in the area, but Anything you might be able to tell us?
I'm
Sorry to
flying
put you
to
on the
New.
spot.
I mean, if anybody knows, I work from Ohio. I used to live in New York City, but I work from my home office now. But I'm flying to New York on Friday when I don't want to travel after I just worked, all those hours, and I'm flying in for just a day. Arrive at 7 a.m. and I leave at 9:30 p.m. for meetings for people that are flying in. And I'm also flying to Korea at the end of the month for a week. So there's a lot of shit going on.
Right.
All right, so
What's next, Jerry? Come on. What are you trying to get out of me?
well, first of all, since I do what I do, I check all travel. I see right now Riot CEO heading to New York, so you're going to be talking to League of Legends. So I'm going out on a limb. Hey, look, I know. I'm just gonna,
We did that Encyclopedia Brown shit last week.
Wasn't quite $10,000 that Team Liquid asked. Don't worry, I got you. It's like it's not quite the fucking Riot CEO coming out to New York. Let me ask this question. We talked about this. This is an educational topic, something we should teach the community about, so they understand that you can have 250,000 eyes on a stream, but the number of commercials you are able to run, considering the gameplay, does affect the ability to monetize that. That should be common sense, but let's talk about League of Legends' current state that it is. From your professional opinion, is that game difficult to monetize on stream just because of the length of the games?
Yes, and I will also say this. I mean, just company-wide, for those of you that don't know, no one probably knows this, but I wasn't really in the position that I'm in terms of company-wide business until recently. I was the SVP of League operations and production, but that mainly meant that I operated basically the events in the league. I've stepped into more of a general MLG business role. Mainly just day-to-day operations in general. So I've gotten to kind of see what, across the board, what it is that we do and how we make money. And we used to high five in the back when we'd hit, a couple 100,000, almost 300,000 peak concurrents. And it took, multiple video engineers and, analytics experts to figure out how we made money. And it shouldn't be the case. We're a lot smarter about it now, and our strategy is amazingly different from last year. And it is hard to make money off of that. However, it's not to say that it can't be made, and it's not to say that it's not of value. I will say that if we work with a MOBA title, it will be drastically different in terms of structure and ops, in terms of what we want to do than what anyone else is out there doing. I don't want to do WoW 2.0. I want to do something different, and hopefully we have some exciting details around that once we're ready.
CSGO sounds different to me, buddy.
Oh, Jesus. How do you do that? No matter what you slip in.
You're still banned from MLG.
I'm with him.
Yeah. All right, so you need a
Change
memo.
the subject quick.
I swear to God, Kurt, you
Change
need a
the
memo.
subject quick.
No, I'm not going to change the subject. You need a memo that says Valve does not really care. That's the memo you need. You need one that says they don't care. You just got to drink. You're going to have to stop drinking that Kool-Aid. I don't think they care.
I'm hearing rumors that they care. They don't care to give money to anybody else. Is their problem.
Well, but even if you do a one-off loss leader, I still don't think it's going to be. I didn't want to get into it. All right, let's talk about MLG Anaheim. And you are obviously, since MLG Anaheim is coming up in June, and we've got some StarCraft arenas, we have some fighting game arenas now announced. You guys are going to be busy. You're going to Korea. You got a meeting in New York. Are all these announcements going to happen before MLG Anaheim? And do they all affect MLG Anaheim? Or are they even bigger than that?
Yes, and yes. Like I said, some are game specific. Multiple announcements are, for a handful of games. I would say we have 5 to 6 huge announcements. And a couple are just general MLG business, gigantic announcements that are going to be industry changing. And Anaheim's going to be by far the biggest esports event in history. Not kind of like a BlizzCon or general,
like a PAX,
a PAX or CBIT. Games that are have a industry following. But not only do we have a huge tie directly with E3, but there's some other amazing shit going on. And I expect a ton of people and attention and eyeballs and media coverage around Anaheim. So I told you this. Wait. I told you this, and this kind of. I guess this applies to you too. I told you this, Jerry, in Columbus, that if you're going to bring your team to any event on the calendar year, take them to Columbus, take them to IPL4. I don't give a shit. If you're gonna take them to anything, bring your entire roster and anybody you're trying to sell to Anaheim. It'll be the best presentation of an esports event this year in terms of just raw attendance.
We'll have 6 players there, so hopefully that's enough.
And they're all banned.
Yeah, none of them are going to have shirts on, so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
no shirts on.
I have a quick question about some of that media coverage that you're talking about there, and one of the biggest things that I'm not sure if people have noticed, and we brought it up on the show last week a little bit, but GameSpot is getting to be a really big thing with you guys this year. GameSpot is doing, they did the Win Arena coverage exclusively, no less, and then they were once again at MLG Columbus. Now, aside from the fact that, that I think that's fucking hilarious considering the whole IGN, IPL relationship and GameSpot with you guys, but aside from that, are you guys looking to do anything more exclusive with GameSpot to really get that sort of mainstream coverage, especially with Slasher working through them now? I don't think he's actually fully hired yet, but are you guys looking to do some more exclusive things with them or anything like that to get some of that mainstream coverage going?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all you're getting.
I'll say this too. In terms of making esports more mainstream, in terms of just even in the general video game niche, we are the number one piece of content all weekend on GameSpot. Verified.
Nice.
Oh, I don't think that's a surprise to me, but
that is a surprise to me, though, Jerry.
I'm fucking happy as Slasher right now.
That means we're reaching. That means we're reaching millions upon millions of general gaming audience. That's important for everyone. People that are competing with us, people that have professional teams, the players that fancy themselves as brands, and just fans that want to see this grow. That's gigantic that happens. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had talked to Sundance, and you don't have to comment on any of this. And Kurt, I haven't talked to you about this yet, but I had speculated that one of Sundance's announcements was going to have something to do with CBS Interactive.
You didn't speculate. We speculated.
We speculated, whatever. But while I was at the event, I'm getting to this. I started thinking this is just me throwing something out to you, Kurt, and Adam. Probably isn't going to say anything. But what if CBS Interactive bought Twitch TV to compete with YouTube Live? What do you think of that, Kurt?
I have no fucking comment.
All right, you think about that. We'll come back to that later.
Don't ask me shit, Jerry. I'm not answering.
I'm not asking you. You wouldn't answer one way or the other. I wasn't going to say a word. I'm just throwing scenarios out there. Sometimes you got to have scenarios. You got to speculate. Machinima works with YouTube. You got this whole. How is Twitch TV going to keep up with Google YouTube Capital unless it finds a good partner? CBS feels a little stale, but if you partner with something like Twitch TV, you open some doors. The offices aren't too far apart. I mean, there's potential there is what I'm saying. There's potential.
That's all I'm going to say. I just want to point out Adam's face. That's,
he's stuck. He's just thinking, well, at least that one I didn't tell Jerry.
He's like, I should not have came on this fucking show. I want to go live on 3 next time. Fuck this show.
Although Kurt, this is the truth about Slasher. Would you think that fucker would congratulate us for our Mortal Kombat? For all the shit, he could have at least said, congratulations. Not a word was said about the fighting game community. So
You can't complain. Look, you cannot complain, Slasher, for being like, "Hey, Lord Jareth, congratulations on your boys doing so well." When you call the guy,
whoa.
That's it.
Hold on. I don't want shit from Slasher. Let me make that fucking clear. But the players, right? It's not about me. He can hate me. Bring it the fuck on, Curly. You can hate me all you want. I'm talking about the players.
Keep yelling at each other. I'll be right back.
Yeah, thanks. The accomplishment of the players, Kurt, that's what I'm talking about. You got to think about whatever Slasher feels about me doesn't affect CDjr or the Mortal Kombat 9 community or that crowd. That's what I'm saying, right?
But he didn't cover anything but StarCraft, did he?
I don't think so. But he was taking notes on the fighting side. He sat there taking notes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the thing with Slasher is, number one, I think he's working off of a contract job right now, an independent contractor job. I don't think he actually works for GameSpot, so he has to get the biggest numbers. And in the end, that's going to be StarCraft right now, and we just proved that with Adam saying that GameSpot did so well with this event this season. So. Look, I can't blame him for not covering the other games anywhere near as much as he did.
He could have tweeted at least something. One tweet is what he could have done. I'm going to leave it there. He could have fucking tweeted. I don't want to hear it.
He didn't do it for Halo either. It's not like, he did.
All right, Jay, what we got?
Halo too. Just for the record. He could have said something about Halo too. All right, with that being said, Adam, one more question.
Hey, I could stay longer. You can ask me whatever the hell you want.
Oh, fuck yeah, then. Here you go. So let's say that, okay, I'm out there in the esports space and I say, oh my God, MLG is doing all this cool shit. Are you going to grow the number of employees? Do you need a workforce? You need more help at MLG events. And let's say I'm a gamer out there. I've just graduated college. How do I find out about if MLG has job openings? Do I watch your Twitter? What if I have a skill set that would be valuable to me? How do we get some of these passionate esports fans that are getting ready to graduate college that might want to work for MLG? Where can they look? What skills do you guys need? Well, I'm getting ready to enter college. What should I major in? What are the skills you look for? What can you advise them?
The funniest part about people there's just like age-old AnTiPRO could speak to this. It's this funny little war at MLG events where it's like content versus refs, and it's like everyone refers to the referees as like cavemans, and the fucking content people are like these intelligent intellectuals that outsmart them. Funniest part about it is that every single person on the floor at MLG, I think we have 150 people on the floor across all positions. Those are the smartest and brightest. Period. We hire referees, and I receive about 2,000 applications in 48 hours. We have to close it off, and we're very, very hard on how we select those guys, and we narrow them down. And we post job openings on MLG, but I feel like I've gotten nearly 50 people jobs in major industry, or just even like the chemistry lab at Duke University. People have used us and I've gone to bat for them. I've said they've done everything under the sun, which they have. We ask a lot of them, and they're all capable of it. So, my big thing that I always say to people is like, I love video games. I love esports. How do I get involved? Go out and fucking do it. Don't sit there and say, I love esports. I want to do it, and send an email to Sunday and expect a job, by explaining your passion. Go out and actually do it. I mean, I wasn't involved in esports. I ran my own event. It was really shitty and rinky-dink in Wheeling, West Virginia, but I ran my own. And that's how I, through, hook and crook and luck and chance, Sundance and Mike heard about it. And because, young Chris Puckett, Azina, Gandhi, 14, 15, 16 years old, respectively, were all there. And, they heard about it, and these guys offered me to, come help with their job. their next event. I went to it, and went really well in 2004, and I turned down law school when they offered me a job. And, just got to do it, man. I think, can't just expect it because you ask for it.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Josh, I want to go to you, buddy, because I know you got a few questions.
I only have 3, and you can answer them as, fast or as detailed as you want.
Ask them one at a time, though. Ask them one at a time.
No, I will. You mentioned that you were working out of your, home office in Columbus. Sundance mentioned on Twitter multiple times, and I think he did an interview, I believe. I couldn't remember if it was with GameSpot or Team Liquid, where he mentioned some sort of location in Columbus, because, I know that in your offices to do all the arenas, you guys kind of just moved everything to the side and brought the players in. Can you make any comments on a possible, this?
I'll make a ton of comments about that. I'll be full disclosure with it. I drove to Raleigh last year because I went on vacation with a bunch of coworkers, rented a beach house beforehand, and worked there. While I thought it would be a lot of fun, I spent a lot of time inside, sitting at the beach house table, staring out the window at those guys playing football on the beach. Let's not talk about that. But, I drove straight from Raleigh through Hurricane Irene and went straight to Columbus, Ohio. And, Yeah, I mean, we were going to build a studio. I mean, I learned a lot. I went through full negotiations with a major, heavy hitting, I don't want to say who it was, heavy hitting corporate real estate agency. I negotiated directly with the state of Ohio. I located directly with the local government. And we had all kinds of incentives, and we had a building spec'd out. We had a full TV studio we were going to build with kind of like a Hall of Fame / MLG permanent merch location that was going to be in Columbus, Ohio. Those plans are still on the back burner. We just kind of had some more pressing stuff. Like I said, quarter one was a lot of apologizing, readdressing, reassessing, changing, painful moments. And we're going to go back on the offensive, and we were going to build a TV studio in Ohio. That was where the arena setup you guys are seeing now was aimed to be in there. It was going to be built by February 1st and constructed and ready to roll. That's not out of the question to happen.
Awesome. And going off of the question about the arenas, when you guys first announced it, you guys caught a lot of heat about the pay-per-view model. I'm assuming we're going to see it come back. Any comments on, are you changing your price point? Is there any, is it going to be more or less? Are you bringing it back at all?
Well, you saw the Springer announcement, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, there's going to be 2 pay-per-views. However, we will be announcing pricing this week, and I think everyone's going to be happy. I think Gold members are going to be really fucking happy they bought Gold membership. We want to really give back to, people that purchased early. So
that's exciting.
If you didn't purchase Gold membership this weekend, you are fucking dumb.
I was going to say,
you are incredibly fucking dumb. You go to charge $20 for one event. You mean to tell me I could buy the whole thing for $30? Fuck you! Of course I'm gonna do it. So yeah, people really should have bought that, and I bought it months ago. So.
All right, Josh, what's your third one?
So I also like to say on Gold membership. By the way, hold on. I like saying Gold membership. I'm not gonna go out there and say who, but a lot of trumpets were blared about $5 a month. Gold membership was $250 a month for 4 guaranteed tournaments. So people would talk whatever shit they want about how much we charge. $2.50 a month for Gold membership. Best value in esports, and I don't see how people didn't see it.
All right, and my final question was about Sundance put out a tweet talking about I was assuming it was locations next year where he was like Columbus mystery location, New York City, and one of them was a mystery location. Is there a possibility that, with the tweets that Sundance has been putting out over the past couple, months with some, overseas locations, is there any possibility to see an overseas event, maybe?
Overseas events?
Yes, overseas event.
100%.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
For instance, the most recent one, Sundance tweeted out, I don't know if this is maybe just his travel itinerary or what. He said Boston, London, Seoul, Japan, France, San Francisco, LA. Are we going to see something in Korea? Can you be more specific? Is it going to be over on, the Asia side of things, Europe?
There's a lot of...
I can make shit up. I'm good at this. I think there's going to be a global StarCraft type league. You are going to be I think there's going to be bigger than GSL kind of shit going on, and it's going to be global. That's my thought on that tweet.
The one that, Blizzard's are already talking about doing something like that since they're not doing BlizzCon this year. They're doing the big event in China.
Everybody also seems to forget too that, and right off the fact that Mike Morhaime was talking to Kespa just like last week. So and he was visiting GSL and stuff like that too. So
I want to hear what Adam says. Adam, we're going to do international events. So
there's a lot of people with a lot of money to spend that have seen our events and love them. I'll say this: I was in Toronto.
Send them my way.
I was in Toronto with months. Yeah, when you run big events, send them your way. They're expensive. I was in Toronto and I was in a meeting with, I would say, outside of a Blizzard meeting, even more than a Blizzard meeting, I would say. I was honored to be in attendance with, probably the most concentrated amount of executives on a super high level at a company, a major, multi-billion-dollar company. It's not like esports is going without notice, and it's not just great for MLG; it's great for everybody. And I hope we can break bread with these guys, and I hope we can break bread with a lot of people that are meeting with us. But there's a lot of shit cooking up right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Very nice.
I'm going to let you go ahead, Kurt. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, I got a final few questions. Number one, the biggest thing, I mean, to me, I absolutely love MLG. I love what you guys did last year. I'm not trying to get them banned potentially, but you guys are doing I think you're doing a much better job this year, and I think you're getting better with each year. And I even say that with Godfrag still sitting dead. So please, But I would like to talk about IEM a little bit, because IEM to me is also one of my favorite events right now. IEM, I absolutely love the way they run their events. I love the content they put out specifically, and I love the stories that they build. Are you guys looking to possibly increase some of the, to me, because I know you guys have stepped back away from content a little bit, with dropping a bunch of the content people and stuff like that. Are you guys looking to push any actual stories, though, from inside the community? For instance, like with IEM, a big story for them was Feast, and a big story was Navi. They're for this entire season 2, and last season doing so well and sort of coming out of nowhere. And they really push that. Are you guys looking to possibly do that with any either underknown players or underknown teams or underdogs or people coming out of nowhere or stuff like that?
I mean, the truth of the matter is no one read our editorial when we put it up. So I mean, you had a few thousand clicks, and I think other people can do it better. I think we can aid people with the ammunition to create the content you're asking for. But I don't know, man. It just wasn't like something people wanted from us. And you don't see Major League Baseball, or you don't see NFL, and you don't see the UFC. Companies we would love to be one day. Don't get me wrong, I'm not putting myself in the same sentence. You don't see them going out and creating that for the people. Creating that for their stars. I mean, you have a sports center or whatever else, create that. And we tell the story through competition and video and the choices that we make about what's broadcast. And I think that's going to continue to be our tact. And I think that there's a gigantic business opportunity to get rid of this TMZ bullshit esports thing that a lot of the journalists out there have right now, and to become like a real sports center. And we would definitely support that, and we would get behind it. But I can't get behind some of the low level journalism going on right now in terms of integrity and what they cover and or how they cover it. So yeah, I mean, I think the story needs to be told, but I don't think the league tells it.
I think that's good.
I was going to say, it's funny that you mentioned that, because you passed me at MLG and you were asking me what I was doing, and
here comes the plug.
I'm sorry, I have to do it. That's what Boss Fight TV is all about. I know I see everyone in the chat asking me, who's this AnTiPRO guy? And you mentioned trying to be like that sports center of esports, and that's what we're trying to do. Is we talk about everything, not just StarCraft, not just Counter-Strike, not just League of Legends, but and I agree with you 100%, especially earlier when you talked about like, hey, how do you get involved? Go link up with one of these sites, and help them out, because that's what we're trying to do. We came out with a whole bunch of content this weekend, and we're still working on it. But I agree with you. I don't necessarily think that the league should be coming out with it, but they should go check out all these independent esports sites out there. But I'm sorry, I had to do the plug.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine, and I think content will speak for itself. It just it's hard to work for people that I don't know. I don't want to get much into it. I mean, I think I said my piece.
I can say things that I think in this place. Look, I think we all should be honest about something. I think this is really the truth. I think we first have to, as a community, as an esports community, that means everybody, from EG to people just breaking in, from VVV to Check 6 to everybody. I think we got to do a better job of policing bullshit. I hate bullshit. I hate it. Right? I hate, if Adam wasn't coming on tonight, my rant was going to be about the bullshit from all the fucking fighting game tournament organizers about how bad MLG is. And, it was just bullshit. It was a lies. It was golf claps. It was they didn't know how to do it. It was they fucked up, 6 years ago. It was all that's bullshit. And I don't know why the fuck we have to pander to anyone. Like and this is just me, right? I think I put one tweet out once. I said, you know what? Popularity is to politics what revenue is to business. And even though I say show me the money, at the end of the day, I don't know everybody gives a shit what other people think, right? Like, if somebody wants to critique one of my ideas, critique one of my ideas. But if you don't like me, go fuck yourself. I don't even know why would I care, right? So all this bullshit about, like, you know, I'm a journalist, or I'm going to report on something, a lot of that shit's just trying to be popular, right? There's no analysis in the news. There's no, like, quality commentary. Those are rare. And when we do find them, I think Kurt especially does a good job of pointing out, hey, you know, this is a quality website. We'll support ESFI on some of the stuff they put out, or CSN on some of the stuff they put out. Those are all good routes. At the end of the day, something bigger will evolve, and hopefully, you know, we don't know what new esports journalism is going to look like 2 or 3 years down the road. But I think right now in this time, we should do a real careful job of saying, you know, what is real journalism, which requires sometimes research, thinking, analyzing sources, and making some decisions. And if somebody's full of shit, call them out, right? It doesn't – look, the burden of proof, the burden of what you think, right, those are two different things. If I accuse Adam and MLG of stealing money, I need proof. If I feel MLG or Adam or MLG, Adam, Sundance are making a bad decision, then I can voice my idea about why I think the idea of what they are doing is wrong. All that stuff's good. But the pandering to the crowd, the misinformation to make a point, the misinformation to seem heroic, the misinformation to be the fucking people's advocate, all that shit we got to stop, I think. And I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Adam, I have two final questions, sort of, you know, relating to the topic that I just talked about. Number one would be, and I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible with this, but coming from my perspective, and this is just my perspective as an organization that is a middle tier, I guess, organization in North America right now. We're not incredibly popular. We don't have a lot of money coming in, but we do send a lot of players to events, and we do support a lot of players, and we try to make sure that we support a lot of things that MLG does and IPL does, and support our players and try to, you know, capitalize off that as best as possible. And MLG especially has done extremely well. And just a quick comment: Katie is amazing. Like, Katie really is amazing, and I'm sure you probably already know this, but we had a problem at Columbus that lasted 30 seconds because of her, and that's all it was. A person wouldn't let us into the player area, although we had a manager pass, and she had it fixed in like 30 seconds. So she is really, really great. But anyway, my question is there? It's kind of hard for lower organizations to get the exposure they need at an event where group play is really the essential basis of everything on the stream, which is why I applauded the beta stream so much when they came out last year, is that they were casting these open bracket matches. But with this event, we saw that switch over to strictly group play for the entire first day. Is there anything at all that can be done about trying to get some of these lower organizations and some of the open bracket matches casted and some of the stuff like that done to where we can actually start seeing a little bit more exposure for our players there?
I'm sure there is. I mean, I'm open to ideas. Send them to me. I mean,
okay.
It's hard to keep up with the open bracket. I mean, not only is it hard to administrate from a tournament perspective, but I mean, it's hard to keep in contact with the guys that are in the back running the broadcast to be able to get those guys on the stream. I mean, it was hard enough to. I mean, like, I alluded to this earlier. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but through our IMG relationship, we fed our stream without broadcast or without a commentator audio to Game Cult in France, and we had a French commentated stream going, and they begged for Stefano matches. And like I said, alluded to earlier, it's not our best interest to put all those matches on the stream anyways. I mean, the guy's got a gigantic following. It's like having Boxer there almost, and it's very hard from an administration standpoint and how StarCraft operates right now to be able to broadcast this really fast-moving, sometimes chaotic open bracket. So, I mean, we do our best. Could we do better? I'm sure we could. Open to ideas about it. Send them to me.
Okay, I'll definitely send you something. Last question. Last year there was kind of I guess what would be a few weird moments. when it comes to sponsor conflicts between teams and MLG. You guys did a really good job of fixing those and not being too overzealous. You remember Shirtgate, Jerseygate, there
which was
for a
complete
while.
bullshit.
If I can real quick, though, this highlights the exact kind of bullshit I was talking about earlier. Right? Everybody got whipped up into a frenzy because of misunderstanding something. And then when MLG explained themselves, right, which
No
was
one
exactly
believed us
what everybody wanted to
anyways.
hear. Nobody fucking believed them because they
I
had
didn't.
some deep, dark agenda.
I didn't believe you guys for a fucking second.
So we announced to the Halo players basically that they were going to be allowed to have whatever logos because they had been beholden to player management agreements, and they didn't have to have our corporate sponsors on their jerseys. Yeah, it got sent accidentally to like every team manager and like every pro player. So of course, like we're the evil empire and the Death Star's moving in, and no one believes us when we come out and say, "Holy shit, we made a mistake, didn't mean to happen," blah 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 blah. And still to this day, it's just like this, like looking over your shoulder for knives in the dark, and it's like that was never meant to happen. We gave you our honest answer, and if you've seen anything different that would flag that we were we told you bullshit, call us out on it right now. But I feel like we've lived up to everything we said, so like let's just drop it.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job, I think, last year of proving that you're not the same league you were a few years back.
We were that league, dude, because we had to be. We were that league because we had to be.
I agree.
We were
understand.
too small to have like NASCAR treatment. That's all there is to it. We would not be here today if we didn't do what we did. But now
that's sort of my question. Now things have changed with your sponsor agreements. There's not this huge sort of overzealous thing of where you can't have sponsor conflicts. And I think you can see that with EG players using a Monster water bottle. In a NOS booth.
I would agree with taste, and I keep in contact with Alex and Scoots about this. It's just like don't fucking put your water bottle in front of the POV camera and have the logo there, and they understand that. But I mean, as long as it's like immersive part of the competition branding, I'm okay with it. But if your guy comes and Check 6 is sponsored by Slim Jim, and he comes dressed in a head to toe dressed as a Slim Jim, I'm gonna be like, you know what, Get him a fucking MLG shirt. Get him off the stage. I mean, it's just like have it in taste within reason, and like we're never gonna have a problem with you. But it's just like when people try to be complete jerks about it, that's when then we get yelled at by our sponsors.
I understand. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't, because I remember last year there was a talk about how the sponsorship contracts were very specific in certain things where it couldn't be conflicting and things like that. I want to make sure that that's cleared up this year. That you guys are 100% on board with helping the teams out with that and making sure that everything's kosher for them too.
If I've ever lied to you, I'd love to be called out on it. So until we lie to you, then you have to believe us, because I mean we've never given you any reason to not believe us. So,
well, you don't know gamers; they're gonna believe whatever they want to believe. So
yeah, I mean, I'm the first one to admit it. Yeah. When I saw that Jerseygate thing, I was jumping on them like, holy shit!
Counter Strike, jerseys.
They're trying to take our jobs.
I'd outsource all you bastards if we're up to me, but that's just me. All right, going to let's talk about some other games here, just to get the past, present, future sort of round circle. Call of Duty and Gears of War. So
just got mentioned in chat. Good call. People want to hear about
Live, but the developer didn't play well. So Adam, you have a spin on things that's always pretty good. What the fuck happened with Call of Duty? So popular, so many eyes, a bunch of different communities, a big melting pot, but developer didn't want to play. Here's my question. I'm going to ask it differently than all the kiddies do. Blizzard and you have this phenomenal relationship. I understand Blizzard, Activision, all the one company have two distinct personalities. I also am well aware that why the fuck would I care? I make a fuck ton of money on this game. Will they ever really fix it? Will Black Ops 2 fix it? Is there something wrong with the engine that everybody knows about that they're not telling anyone? Why can't we just see Call of Duty somewhere? And even if we do see it, how the fuck do you not make it so goddamn boring like it was last time? It just wasn't fun to watch.
Call of Duty requires soundproof booths. It also requires an overhaul of game types. I think we have to have it more akin to what people play at home. I've talked to Casey and John about that, and you'll see, like, I took a firmer hand with the Halo stuff going into Columbus, where I said, I don't care what is the most competitive. I want what is competitive but also balances what people want. So we kind of stopped being hard asses, I guess you could say, with Halo. In terms of trying to create our idea of competitive standard. I think we would need to do the same with Call of Duty. But in terms of a live audience, you have to have 5v5 booths. You can't. Call of Duty's so bad with in terms of live audience presentation that certain game types, I forget which exact one is, but you can't even pump game audio to the crowd. It's silence. It's unacceptable. So there's some changes we would need to make in order to accommodate that.
Is that cost effective to do like a 5v5 booth?
They're fucking extremely expensive. We priced them. We were going to build them for Halo, but I mean, we need a little help to do that, and they're not cheap. And you guys don't even see. Here's the high class production problems you guys don't even think about. It's like you have 5 people going into a mix amp, counting the coach, screaming into their mics while they're in a soundproof booth. How in the hell does that go to audio to the back end of the production? I mean, you guys just don't understand the amount of hoops we need to jump through to make something work, to have it be TV quality. And there's a lot of hurdles to think about when you have people in a soundproof booth on a team that need to constantly scream and communicate, and how that ties to audio and how it ties to TV production. So it's not easy.
To be totally honest, I was going to say, just running even the small little Guitar Hero stream that I did just a couple of weeks ago, the problem of getting the audio into the computer, making sure that it was audible for the people on the stream where I could still hear where we were at in the song. I mean, that to me was a nightmare, and that was a small little event, so kudos for bringing that up. That's a very good point, but go ahead, Jerry.
I was going to add that, so maybe if the developer coughed up some more cash, right? Or someone else.
Well, and also Call of Duty, it doesn't have fucking LAN mode. I mean,
why does everybody talk about? And why did 4227XYZ leave Activision? But that's a whole other question.
I honestly don't know that. But I mean, I don't want to break a game or do all kinds of weird hoops to make it work on LAN. I want to have it work on LAN. I want it to have it work in very competitive, easy, dude. It's ridiculous. It's people don't understand. We have to put 200 teams through an open double elimination open bracket on the floor. We can't be jumping through hoops on that scale. Yeah, you could do it at your local tournament with 16 teams or whatever. It's a little different when you're syncing that up with a broadcast and you're syncing that up with that many teams and that many matches. It just, the time sink it creates over the course of that many hours, it just becomes untenable in terms of operations.
All right, so. Just because Activision can invite 32 teams, that's not the same thing as having 200 teams. So you're saying there's a difference in scale there.
Exactly.
All right. Now, let's talk about a different game, Gears of War. There was a relationship, was looking good for a while, didn't work out. What happened?
There still is a relationship, and we talked to Quinn, we talked to Cliffy, we talked to all these guys, and Pete quite a bit, and that relationship is not dead, and they're headquartered in Raleigh, so I mean, maybe something will happen there. We're talking about it.
All right, so maybe that's what I think most Gears players know is their best hope. Diablo 3.
Hold on. So we're talking about FPS games. All right.
Look, shut up. Nobody cares. All right, Diablo 3.
I haven't asked a single CSGO question.
Yeah, no, because the answer is you're going to get banned is what's going to happen. Diablo 3.
Agreed.
I'm already banned. What are you
There
doing?
it is. Adam just said it, right? Holy shit, you Counter-Strike people are like fucking herpes. You really don't go away. The only goddamn thing you have is that stupid game. All right, let's talk about...
I refuse to listen to somebody that's still...
Diablo 3, Blizzard Dota, Guild Wars 2, Arena... I don't know, or games that we may not even have considered that are out there. What can you share on those fronts?
I would love to run Blizzard Diablo. I played it at BlizzCon last year, or 2 years ago, whatever it was, and it was a ton of fun. And I think games should be competitive. There should be competitive merits. There should be a following. Those are two standards two pieces of a game that need to be there to be on a tournament circuit. However, I also think it needs to be fun. I think that's why kind of Halo Reach struggles. It's before you change the settings, it just wasn't fun. And how can you practice something for that many hours a day if it's just you don't enjoy playing it? Diablo is competitive. The best team wins, and it's fun, and a lot of people are going to follow it. If there's a chance that we can run it as an esports title, I would love to explore it. So,
what about MMOs like Guild Wars 2 that have a history of being competitive, but I don't know much about that?
Talking to the Guild Wars team right now. We've been talking to him for a while. I think it's got great potential. I can't go much further into that, but we have been talking to those guys. It's right at arena.net.
All right, so somebody says, does your relationship with Blizzard make it impossible? Isn't Guild Wars a competitor?
Absolutely not. Blizzard's not like that. Blizzard's an amazing partner to work with. Blizzard doesn't want us to block us from anything. They understand esports grows through. They understand that they grow through their titles being next to other titles. That Blizzard embraces that more than anybody, and they're not out there to block us from doing anything or having any type of exclusivity around a genre. Blizzard loves to have their titles next to other titles so that people can see it and then want to play it. I mean, and that's how we feel about it too. I feel like there's cross-pollination across the board when you do it right.
Okay. What about, to satisfy Kurt, Valve is a developer. Dota 2 out there.
Let me ask this question because I have a better way to ask this question.
You can ask the same shit, but go ahead.
Shut the fuck up. But no, so the thing is my only question about CSGO is simply, other than money from Valve, is there any foreseeable problem with you guys doing something with CSGO? So other than money, because we all know that's a problem with Valve.
Let me say, hold on. I'm seeing something on Twitter where you responded to somebody Max Wasserman from the Capcom community. I obviously said a million times that we don't plan on having the Fighting Games Arena be pay-per-view, and yet we've tweeted to, I'm sure Capcom followers and its people, whatever, that it's pay-per-view. It's not. Quit putting words in our mouths. We haven't said that. Stop it.
Yeah.
Period.
Who is this person?
That's what I put on Twitter. Stop spreading that misinformation.
Don't say what's on our goddamn website. I mean, it's so frustrating. It's like, this is why miscommunication happens. I don't want this shit. Like, I wouldn't have said anything if I just want to build these communities up. Period. And don't say we said something when we didn't, because we never said that.
And Sunday specifically said that it wasn't going to be pay-per-view. So, anyway. But yeah, I mean, my only question is, like I said, we all know money is a problem with Valve. I'm not getting into that. But other than money, is there any foreseeable problem with adding a game like CSGO, like CS in general, on something like MLG? Is there? I mean, what were you guys' thought process of not adding CS 1.6 years ago? What's
5v5? 5v5 requires 10 computers per station, an internet connection in most cases, a $2,000 computer, not a $200 console, not including the monitor, peripheral equipment that each player needs to set up as they sit down. It's a beast. It's even StarCraft is a beast to run because players have to bring their own shit. They have to have drivers, be teched, and blah 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 blah. Multiply that over time, times 5. When you have a single station, 1-on-1 becomes 5-on-5. I mean, it becomes hard to run a tournament of scale, and we don't like to run just like 16-person invite-only tournaments or whatever. We like to run. We have one full day on Saturday, and we have 2 pretty much half days. We have to fit what we can fit in those days, and it's harder and harder and harder to run 5v5 tournaments. So, I don't know. It's difficult, and we need to have some ROI around it.
Gotcha. I understand that completely. That's the answer I was looking for. But is there any? Is there anything just so we can start pushing and we as the community in Counter-Strike start pushing the developer to add certain things to make that easier on you guys? Once again, other than money, adding to the game specifically, whether it be
a big deal.
Counter-Strike is known to have the best spectator client of any game.
Spectator clients, that's a bare minimum it's getting to be, because like if you look at Halo Reach, we need to have. See, this is like the Halo community doesn't matter. Doesn't understand. Not that they don't matter. It was a slip. They don't understand that in terms of video, you have to have 16 video inputs to run Halo Reach. That means 1 for each one of the perspectives, 1 for each one of the point of view cameras, and that's not counting the cameras on the floor, the roaming cameras, or the static camera and the rig. So you're talking like 22 video inputs. When say for like a StarCraft, you need 1 for the commentators, and the Observer, which is the Observer, and that's it. So Halo's a beast to run. And when I say on Twitter that hey, your entry didn't even cover the prize money, don't even start on the production. Halo is far and away, not even comparable with our most expensive title to run. So, spectator mode is a bare minimum. It has to be great.
All right, with that being said, Dota probably runs into, and League, all these games that are multiplayer like that, then you run into similar problems, right?
Yeah, but they have amazing spectator clients.
Well, that being said, full disclosure here, CS has had one of the best spectator clients ever. The fact that you can add a delay to it so you don't miss any shots is ridiculous. No one else does that. But anyway, okay. I digress.
So let me say this, though. In order for us to provide 8 stations, that's 80 computers, right? Right?
Yeah.
80 computers. They're about $2,000 a pop. They break constantly, so you have to have a 20 to 30%.
They do break constantly.
You have to have a 20 to 30% of that number on the floor in terms of backups that are already mirrored or image, and ready to roll, and then detect once they're on the floor, and have the player's drivers put on it in the middle of the match. So you're talking a ton of fucking equipment. You're talking 100 computers to run 8 stations. Tell me what you can run with 8 stations. What scale? It's hard, man. We have 20-some stations for Halo. We have 40 stations for StarCraft. It's not easy, and people give us a lot of shit for it. Why don't we do it? And there's a lot of factors that people don't even think about that go into it, that once you take a step back from an operational standpoint and you think about it, you understand a little bit better.
Once again, stuff like that I don't worry about, though, from your guys' perspective, as far as that being a problem in the future, because in the end, I don't see you guys ever having an open CS tournament anyway. You guys wouldn't do that, I don't think. You would do an online qualification system where the top 8 or top 16.
But what does that bias, man? What does that bias when we want to have 30,000 people in the room? There's gonna be stream monsters at home that watch it, and it's gonna be great. But
if you think people won't show up for an event like that, I think you're probably misinterpreting.
I'm not saying they won't, man. I'm just saying it's a risk.
It is a risk. No, I agree.
And there's also there's heavy math.
I'm just going to cut in here. I don't think people are coming. I think Counter-Strike is way too past its day.
Every competitor on average.
Fucking break.
Look at ESCA's numbers. I don't buy it.
Every competitor on average brings 2 spectators with them. If we're talking
you can't compare ESCA to fucking MLG, Jerry. That's ridiculous. And for ESCA, for the scale in which they have their tournament, it's packed every fucking event. It's held in a goddamn tiny-ass ballroom in a hotel. There's a big fucking difference. Big difference.
I'm just saying, dude, that it's a big investment on our part to make it happen to the scale we would like it to happen, and the ROI needs to be there, and there needs to be publisher support. It's very hard. So, not saying that it will never happen. I will never go out and say that. I want to run the most competitive games out there. They just need to make sense so that we don't go out of business.
You answered my only question I had, and that's just making sure. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything in the actual game that would break.
Absolutely not.
Okay, perfect. Moving on.
This is the last question of the night because it's getting late and we got to go. And we're doing phenomenal on good thing. Thinking about just 5 years ago, Adam, and now thinking about today, the struggle you may have had with developers then versus where it is today. At least now I see a lot more developers use the word esports, even though I don't think they understand what it means, but they know it's something to pay attention to. Twisted Metal, I heard the developer use the word, even though they were going to have a spectator mode. Dust coming out talks about esports. Are you seeing more and more developers interested in what this is and reaching out to you guys? And I don't know, still that they really don't get it? Or what do you think their impression of esports is? Because obviously many of them are far away from, say, what Blizzard understands.
There's how do I say this without getting myself in trouble? The ones that we've just handed money out hand over fist for years are the ones that want to work with us the least because they say, fuck it, they're going to do it anyways. Why the fuck would I support them? And then there's other ones that have gigantic followings that are dying to work with us and we've never kind of looked their way, I guess, that are going to take their spot, and it sucks, man, because I feel like that it should be the opposite. It should be the people that we've supported and kept, on, I would say on life support, or even like the only reason people play X title is because we carry it, and we've created like a standard and a culture around it, and they've never given us a dime, and I don't want them to like give us, to fund our business. That's not what I'm asking, but I mean, even just like support. I mean, it sucks, man. It really sucks for somebody that's done this. It's their life. It's like how I feed my family, and I know I do. I know that what I do on a day-to-day basis impacts their business greatly, and I'll go on a limb and say they need us. It sucks that they don't appreciate us back, because we love their title, and we're going to start to work with people that want to work with us, and that's how it's got to be. I mean, we can't just operate this forever with no help, and we don't ask for. I mean, wish I could go into more in depth with what help is, but I just can't on a podcast. But we're not asking for much. I mean, it just sucks because I feel like we're the redheaded stepchild of some publishers' viewpoints. And like I said at the beginning of this rant, that we're just going to continue to run it because we've done it in the past, and that we need them, and we don't. We're going to work with people that want to work with us, and that's just how it's going to be.
Adam, as always, you always get right to the point. You talk straight, and it's always deeply appreciated. I want to say congratulations on a phenomenal event. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. All our players, StarCraft, Halo, Mortal Kombat, King of Fighters, they all had a great time. We had a great time. There were plenty of seats this time. I appreciate that. I'm big on seats.
We ran out of seats.
Well, you did. You did, but
You didn't spawn enough chairs, son.
By that time I was a little more aggressive on making sure I had a seat. So, and I think that you guys, just listening to what you said you were going to change, I think it's good. I think everybody's going to be excited. I mean, your industry-changing announcements. I think we're all going to be looking forward to it, and it's amazing to be a part of it. So again, thank you for all the time, Adam.
I appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Adam, I want to give you any shout-outs, anything you want to say before I head out?
I'm getting a lot of tweets to say I'm going to get in trouble, and I'm not going to get in trouble. This is just the truth, guys. It's not throwing any publishers under the bus. It's just we love them. I just want them to love us back, and we want to do big things for the titles that we use, regardless of what genre or whatever it is. And we want to make players into stars. We want to elevate team brands. We want to have fans have something that something they're proud of when they're in the crowd and they're viewing it. And then that aspirational quality to be there, want to be that person on the stage. And I don't think we're asking much. And we're going to continue to work very hard. And I want to thank all my coworkers that completely busted ass. From full-time employees just to event employees. This past weekend, I view this past weekend as one of the biggest milestones in company history on a million levels from a business standpoint. And I want to thank the community for showing up, especially the Halo guys. They did a really, really good job, and we appreciate them.
All right, everyone. That is Adam Apicella, who is now the what is your title now?
I am the SVP of Operations.
Boy, that's the position they put somebody in when they're going to groom him to be the Chief Operating Officer. Do you know that?
That'd be nice.
So, congratulations. Good stuff. I look forward to talking to you some more, Adam, and you have a good night.
Thanks,
Sherry, for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care.
Take care, Adam.
Take it easy, Adam.
Always a pleasure to have him on. Always a pleasure.
It really upsets me that somebody that banned me from all MLG competition I can like that much.
All right. Well, I think it's late. I think we need to wrap it up. We are. We always say we're going to have a short show, and we always get great guests, and we end up talking. So, Jason, close us out.
Well, before I do, and oh goodness, there went Josh. So let's just move him out of there. Josh, before you go, your video didn't go up because we had to move things around because Adam left. But,
oh no!
No, that's what happens though. It's all good. Before you head on out, sir, any shout-outs, anything? Thank you so much for guest hosting with us this week, as that our intern is kind of, we kind of kicked him to the curb a little bit. So
I know we had a chaotic sort of stream there, Josh. I want to apologize a little bit because we did bring Adam on, and you weren't expecting that. We kind of threw you into the grill.
No, it's all good. No, I like it. I like surprises. You know, it was actually really cool to talk to Adam and everything. Because like I said before, like I used to work with him at MLG, and it was really actually kind of fun to throw some questions in there for him. But it's all good. I just want to thank you guys, for having me on the show. I've been actually trying to talk to Paradise about getting on, here and there, and it's just like we were talking about earlier. When you just really have Skype and Twitter, it's kind of hard to talk back and forth. But I have a couple of shout outs. One is to my co-founder and co-host at Boss Fight TV. That's Mike Bisson, also known as Mohawk Mike. You might have seen him running around at MLG. He was the guy who ran up in front of the crowd and started the slow claps and all that stuff. So a big shout out to him and my entire crew that helped with Boss Fight TV this weekend at Columbus. I also want to shout out to Jason Tugman at iHeart Esports.
Oh yeah.
He's one of our biggest sponsors. I know he's been on your show as well before. He came out. It was an honor because he came out to stay with us, and it was his first major esports event. So I was glad that I could be a part of that.
Please don't tell me he got you to drink gin.
No, he actually did not get me to drink gin. He got Mike's brother to drink gin, but we gave him we gave him some of our own stuff that I'm not going to mention. And finally, thank you to everybody that was at MLG. It was a great event. Everyone that we got to talk to, everyone that I met across the board was amazing. So thank you to everybody at MLG.
Awesome. We're so glad you could join us tonight, man, and hopefully we'll get you back here on the show in the future. Pleasure getting a chance to talk to you. Wish we'd have had a chance to talk a little bit more at MLG, but we'll be in touch. We'll make sure to get you back on here again soon. Thank you so much for stopping by.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Take care.
All right, guys. So that brings us about to the end of round 107. What an exciting week in esports, and I feel like things are only going to be getting bigger with all of the announcements that MLG will be making here in the coming weeks. Anaheim's going to be the event to be at, so if you have any way possible, you need to get out to California this June. In the meantime, though, as we're wrapping things up the way that we normally like to do, Kurt, any shout-outs that you got before we end the show?
I actually do have quite a few this week. Go ahead and shout out with. First, once again, shout out to Boss Fight TV. That's bossfight.tv. I've said it before multiple times. Please go check those guys out. I want to have them back on the show at some point in time where we can actually talk about what they're doing specifically. That being directly Josh and Mike. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love that. Shout out to Quantic. They helped us out with this event and went ahead and retweeted our stream. They put up really good fight at MLG and stuff like that. So shout out to those guys. They continue to work hard. I do want to give a shout out to us, to Check Six. Go check out the Check Six Facebook if you would. It's facebook.com/check and then the number 6 and then gaming. We've got some really great pictures up from the event. From MLG Columbus, some really hilarious, high quality pictures you guys need to check out. Final shout out to VVV. You guys had easily what I think is one of your best events. This event for you guys. You guys really did a lot with Glon doing so well and Glon and Ruff doing so well for StarCraft, and then of course you guys getting first and second at Mortal Kombat. Really, really good event for you guys, and you guys were really good to my guys too. VUV was actually down the hall in the hotel room directly.
2 doors down.
So we were, just 2 doors down from the Check 6 hotel room. So we tried to party. My guys tried to party with you guys as much as possible, and I think you guys took care of each other. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, I think that's an understatement. I mean, to see the Czech 6 guys almost trying to prank us, running down, knocking on our door, and leaving a beat-up case of beer with a hand-scribbled note on it, that and then running away before we could see who left it, and it said "Love Czech 6" at the bottom of it. It was a fun time. Thank you guys for having such a good sense of humor. I love the guys. Shout out to Fuji. He's friggin' awesome. But Jerry, the floor is yours, and then I'll wrap the show up afterward.
Yeah, Kurt, like I told you, I think want to again also thank the team over at Czech 6 Gaming. The first note that came was to VV with love, Czech 6 Gaming, and in parentheses, we really mean with love. And the second note we got, because if you guys don't know, we got 2 cases of beer from Czech 6. The second one said, "Hi VV, congrats on beating cats," referring to Complexity Cats, with love, Czech 6 Gaming. So
toast to the demise.
Drink to his demise. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know that Ruff knew Complexity Cats way before, and, they just had a falling out. Cats, sort of did a lot to ruin his reputation, and then when I commented on how he needed to be more professional on the arena stream, he got all butthurt on Twitter and, told me, that I better be careful who I'm talking to, and then he started talking mad shit about VV, how we cheat and we stream cheat and we're not a real team. And then he got fucking slapped 2-0. And I was like, now what are you going to say? What are you going to say now, jerky? Yeah, that was a good feeling. Nothing I love more than when, somebody who, they're clearly butthurt. They're clearly just whining. They make shit up like, VV cheats or we're not a real team. And then you just get shitted on by the very guy you fucked over before. That's poetic justice. Then he stood up and he knocked shit over. And it was like, God, if I could have just... We should have took a picture, but I made sure everybody was really, pretty reserved. We just picked on him a little on Twitter, so... normally if it had been in the gears...
I found the picture. I'm just going to see if I can throw it up real quick on the stream so that people can see it. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to see if I can get this up real quick before...
Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, if it had been the Gears of War days, I would have taunted the shit out of him. I might have flipped 50 cents and told him to call his dad and tell him about a real man or something. But in this case, we just let it go. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, King of Fighters I really loved. Romance was a phenomenal player. Getting third was great. I really liked that. I had a real good time, obviously, learning about Mortal Kombat and meeting the guys from VSM and Test Your Might. Every time I hear somebody mention Mortal Kombat, so everybody's educated. The website for Mortal Kombat is testyourmight.com. Don't get any other fighting game community website mixed up. People come in here and tell me some Capcom-related site didn't like Mortal Kombat. I don't care what the fucking Street Fighter community thinks of it. Go to where the Mortal Kombat community live. That's testyourmight.com. Tim and the guys that run it over there, great group of people. That's where you're going to find out what the Mortal Kombat community wants from Major League Gaming, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they're looking forward to. And I just think it's really great to see that group not have to piggyback off Capcom anymore, that they have their own venue. Like Adam said, fuck them.
All right, hold on a second. Jerry, I want to cut in real quick and just to show everybody what we were talking about. It's going to be sideways. Didn't have a way to flip it real quick. But there is... VVV Ruff with the beat-up case of beer from Czech 6 and the note that says, "Hi, VVV. Congrats on beating cats. With love, Czech 6 Gaming." Oh, that is a beautiful sight. I love it. But
yeah, and the great thing about that is we did it the original time. The first time we did it as a prank, and they called me and they were, they were going to do it as a prank just to kind of fuck with you guys, and you guys took it with such stride that we had no idea if you guys even got it. So, yeah, it was really, really amazing. I appreciate you guys being such good sports there, and I expect some retaliation.
Yeah, well, I think the joke's on you because VV Brock ended up taking the whole thing home, and he's known to drink really cheap beer, so it worked out really well for him. He appreciated it. With all that being said, we appreciate every one of you that got the chance to tune in and listen in tonight. Please let people know about the VOD. Let people know when we're live. We really want to continue growing these stream numbers so that people get to hear the information we're putting out there. Big thank you to everybody who actually helped make last week's show one of our most listened to of all time. I think we're close to closing in on 5,000 listens on YouTube. So thanks, guys. We really do appreciate it. If you get the chance to stop by the VV Gaming forums, vv-gaming.com, you can find all the information on prior Losers Bracket episodes over there. We've got the content forum. Check that out. In the meantime, you can follow all of us over on Twitter. Our Twitter handles have been at the bottom of our frames for pretty much the entire episode. So if you want to contact anybody that's been on the show, you have a good way to do so. Speaking of contact, I just talked to Juicebox Abel a little bit out in the stream. We're going to see if we can grab him up on the show next week, talk about some fighting games, continue to see if we can grow that field, because I have to say that was pretty hype out at MLG. Big shout out to every single person that came up at MLG and said hi to me. I think this was the most I've ever seen anybody come up and say hi at an event. People shaking my hand saying, hey, we love what you do, and we're going to keep doing it for you guys. So thank you so much. Shout out to my two co-hosts here. Love working with you guys. It is always a pleasure. Cannot wait till next week. Let me get the regular thanks out of the way. Shout out to the sponsors. You see them down here. Control Freak SteelSeries, Gamer Grub, and a big thank you to the band Power Glove as well, because they supply all the music we use each and every week on the show. If you do want as well, we also do have the email address, losersbracket@vv-gaming.com, or you can also email me directly, paradise@vv-gaming.com. Would love to hear your feedback. All right, guys, that about wraps it up this week. Right, Jerry? I don't think there's anything else.
Nope. I think if I have one final word to say, it's this. You want to be at Anaheim. You want to be at Anaheim. You want to be at Anaheim. And I mean this when I say this. You do not know the Mortal Kombat 9 community. If for any reason I walked up to the people in the Mortal Kombat 9 community. I just sponsored 2 players. Who the fuck am I? They accepted me with open arms. You want to meet this community, I'm telling you. Test your might. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Meet them. Adam already said that the game is here to stay. If you are a fighting game fan, Soul Calibur 5 and Mortal Kombat just might be the place to be this year. All right, everybody. I'm out of here. Have a very, very good week. Next week I will be in Miami, so I will try to do the show live from South Beach, Miami again. I'm not going to promise 100% because it's this symposium's a different event. We may have to either do it without Jerry, but I will try to get out on Tuesday being live from South Beach.
All right. Final couple shout-outs before we head out. Some people that are still in the stream. Just the people that are right in there right now. VV Spike is dying for a shout-out, so there you go, friend. That is one special dude. If you ever get the chance to talk to Spike, he is quite the character. Medusa's in the chat. Shout-outs to her. Static, Rimza, Cheese is in the chat.
A shout-out from me, too, the Chanman V.
Right.
Chanman V in the chat. Check his stuff out. He does a bunch of like show matches for players and stuff like that. He's got really great stuff, so check him out.
One other big shout out to Juicebox, who has been in the stream the entire time, ever since we started talking about him earlier. Really do appreciate the work you put in for the fighting game community, for the way you did the stream for King of Fighters.
Yeah, let me add that too.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to say, I said it's Juicebox at Columbus. I'll say it again. Adam said it best. You can't teach enthusiasm. The sound effects, the noise, the talking like a pirate. You know what? I would not have known that it would have helped. It was just downright entertaining. I can see why Adam says we want to make this guy. And I don't know if you follow StarCraft, Juicebox, but when somebody says I want to make you the day 9 of fighting games, that is a compliment that I'll be honest, I would be shocked if anybody could ever live up to that. But I don't think there is a higher compliment you can play if anyone's going to say anything about the potential of another caster, one name you don't throw around unless you really think they're talented is the name Day 9. And you heard that from Adam if you were listening. So those would be big shoes to fill. And Adam's a straight talker, so they were very impressed. So congratulations on that.
Agreed 100%. We look forward to talking with you next week here on the show, Juicebox. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Get some gaming in. We'd love to hear your feedback. Like I said before, I gave you all the ways to contact us. Get in touch with us. Let us know what your thoughts are. And, of course, I will share any feedback I get on the show if it's something that, you want us to talk about. So, in the meantime, take care, guys. We'll see you back here next Tuesday night. Whether we are with Jerry or sans Jerry, we'll make it happen. So, have a good week. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.